Okay, I'm ready. Hello, good morning, friends on Facebook. Woo! Let's put our hands together and welcome our friends. Good morning. Woo! Okay, we are here at History Makers Training, April 2018, and today is day 6. Actually, is the last day here, but I believe that it's just the beginning. So, friends, please go share. We're going to start celebrating here, so you can join us. Bye-bye. Or shall I say welcome? Yeah.
You are not going to be there, translate. Come now. Sit down now. Sit down. Sit down. Sit down.
This morning.
Coordinator. Coordinator, join us. Coordinator.
Please, all pictures. Yeah, yes. Please. You, everybody come in.
Yes. Selfie.
Who is the person with the cap? You just arrived. And so you will be the cameraman. Let everybody else come in. Babush and Galina, all of you come in. No, with this kind of suit. One, two, three. Are you taking anything or not? Take as many as possible. Yeah.
The memory is there.
And then don't forget you still have a lot of other.
Speed.
Yeah. Now go and be taking one by one of those. That one no enough. Take as many cameras.
I'm taking his time. Wow. Okay. Cheese, Jesus, love.
It is very blurry.
Oh, God. Put that one down, take another one.
Don't touch the middle of it.
Yeah, this is good.
Yeah.
Okay. If they have pin, just leave it.
Smile, smile, smile. Now exams, it's examination time. How many kilometers of roads are we planning to construct? In Nigeria, 6 by 6, okay. And how many the length and the breadth?
50 by 30.
50 by
30, I think.
no.
By 3.
No.
If they have things, just leave it.
We are taking our world.
That's one there.
Which one?
Yeah.
That one right
Yes.
He's going to take everything now.
You cannot share.
Can you take the big camera up there? Take finish this one.
That's your.
Okay.
You know you are all on camera.
There's a camera.
The ones you finish using, put them over there so that you don't confuse.
Okay, so.
There's a camera up there.
There's an
This
iPad.
I've used this.
No, the
There's
other one.
another one. There's another one.
But we already used that, no?
No.
So the other one I used, I've not used.
Make you don't follow.
Keep on smiling.
There is a Nigerian song where people say, I will lift him higher. Is it a redeemed song or is Nigeria something I will lift him higher or
No,
something?
already.
Okay, how do you sing it?
Aya Jehovah.
That's okay. Don't worry. That's mine.
He has given me victory. Is it finished? Did he use all of them?
No, not yet.
No, I'm left with this.
No.
I've used.
Which are the
No,
ones?
no, no.
I've used all of this.
No.
There's one and the other one.
I didn't use
The
one.
one
Okay.
at the top.
Do the one you dey hold now.
Yes.
Finish with the one you are holding first.
Mom.
Yes, this is what I like.
I like that one.
Let him Esther.
Right.
Yes.
iPad.
I don't put up the one.
Beautiful song.
Okay, so you know what? Come and sing. Let me take it. Come and sing.
iPad.
Come and sing.
No, you don't be part of it.
It's not part.
You just visited.
Oh, okay, sorry.
He didn't pay the price. He shouldn't take the glory.
I'm using the service.
Has he taken everything?
Yeah.
No. He did the iPad too, yeah?
Should I put my phone? Okay. Is everybody put in their phone? I've not put to my head.
Where did they happen?
No, we can send through WhatsApp.
Don't worry, I'll share this one.
Yes, you can share through WhatsApp.
Or should we swap around?
Please, where did you disappear to?
PhD holder.
Our own national Oyibo.
That one is France. It's not here.
National Oyibo.
Come join us now. Woo!
Okay, thank you. No. See, I only use concentrate on your own camera. Keep that back. You gotta have your own camera. Only one official camera. Only one official. They will give you the professional one. So don't bother with your own little one.
Yeah, we've done that. So
You get the professional one.
Don't waste time on the little things. Let's do the professional one.
I've done it many times.
Very fast.
It's up to you now.
Like the European.
Let me put that.
You've been living in Europe all this time. You know how to do that.
Next lady.
You cannot appeal.
Yeah.
I'm at the last one. Save the best for last, you know.
Yeah.
Calivio.
This is the present politicians and the future politicians.
All right. Bro, come. Somebody take us now. Okay, now. And I have to.
I'll send it to you.
Okay.
Okay. Where is your camera now?
Camera now.
I mean, let's all of us share our pictures. And send all the pictures for me.
Thank you.
Yes, Fiona. Share all the pictures on WhatsApp. Yes, I have that.
Can I snap 3 of you?
Yeah.
2 of you is from France.
Okay.
All of us again? All French people? You want with me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Canada is ready. All right, let's arrange the shares now.
Okay, cheers back.
You are so Atlantic. In the family, you are back at home with your own family. God has seen Two of you are Canadians.
Yes.
Only 2 Canadians we have, eh? Here we go.
Coordinator. Coordinator, here. Let me take it. Ruby. Coordinator. Okay, guys, let's start. Pastor is here. We have story. Everybody come back.
Senator.
Yes. Come.
All right.
They must be jealous in it.
Huh?
They're jealous.
They must be jealous, eh?
Yeah.
Are we still on or what?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
We are always on. Sir.
I didn't realize we are still live. Oh.
Life.
All right, so we're okay. They'll be wondering, so you people also have fun in HMT? After all the hard work, sleepless nights, and I was watching again the Nigerian presentation, and I was thinking everybody needs to see that as many times as possible for them to even understand the concept. Because it's a very thorough, a lot of work, a lot of years are going into it. But I think the greatest challenge we are going to have will be with the government. If we'll be able to resolve the government issue, all others will be resolved by God's grace.
Amen.
All right. So before Irene goes, maybe she could still make another topic. One more topic before you go. Okay, so today's topic is dealing with concrete national issues. Yeah. So how do you use biblical principles to deal with concrete national issues? Okay, here we go.
Because of sin and the fall of man, every land bears the smears and marks of it in her. It is seen in the people of the land, in their standard of living, but most pronouncedly in the national problem of each nation.
Now, who knows why that is? So what we are saying is that because of sin and the fall of man, every land, every country bears in itself the smears and the marks of that sin, of that fall. Every nation bears in itself the signs and the marks and the smears of the fall of man. And how do we see it? We see it in the people of the land. For example, before I went to America first time, I had been living in Europe, for for more than 10 years, and I've always been hearing of America. So I thought everything in America is perfect. Until I went there, bad news. But especially the people. I couldn't believe that. How can these people be living in America? And they said they're Americans, and the ones that I know are better in my own village cannot even get visa. As the way they are doing with this visa, as if everybody over there, they are better than you. So we cannot allow you to go there so that you will not remain. But I went there to discover that their own citizens are even worse than the people that are refusing visa. So why are they refusing visa? People who are even better than the people who are called Americans themselves. I didn't expect it. I didn't expect it that there will be more ordinary people in Nigeria that are better than ordinary people in America. I'm not talking about the elite. I'm talking about ordinary people in America. Nothing to write home about. I mean, it's emptiness. Nigerians are much more better in that area. At least Nigerians are pushing for something. They are ambitious. They are passionate. They know what they want. They are resolute. They have will, power. But in America, it's like they're just existing mostly. And that is very surprising, very shocking. Because even when I'm growing up in Africa, even people who are illiterate, who don't know how to read and write, they are still more human beings than the ones I saw in America. So that was a surprise. And then when you go to any other country like that, you will also see challenges. So what I'm saying is that every country bears in itself the marks and smears of the fall. And then the standard of living. Because in this Western world, America and Europe, the standard of living has been corrected because of economic development. And that's also because there are some people who have taken responsibility for the tons and funds and thousands of the land. But in Africa, we have not taken care of those tons and thousands. So we are still in, our standard of living is nothing to write home about. But most pronouncedly in the national problems of each nation. There is no country you go to where they don't have national problems. And that's what will surprise you. There is a big dichotomy in most countries of the world between their ruling class and the people, ordinary people. When you see ordinary people, in England, for example, those teenagers, they are just getting pregnant anyway. I mean, going from club to club. You say, and these are human beings. And when I went to England that's what surprised me. I said, but we used to respect white people because in Africa, the impression you have is that white people are advanced. Then when I saw the lifestyle, it's more than animal. It's not just like the pigs in my own village. In England, and they are white. So that's why we must go back to rebuild Africa. We have much more better potential than the Europeans. The Europeans have relaxed. They have relaxed. Everything is good. And you have more possibility of growing when in troubles, when you are in problems, when you are in challenges, than when you are in comfort. When you are in comfort, it destroys you more and faster. So we need to, that's why Nigeria is not coming off my mind. We need to go back and rebuild Africa. Okay?
Genesis 3:17-18. Then to Adam he said, because you have heeded the voice of your wife, and have eaten from the tree of which I commanded you, saying, you shall not eat of it, cursed is the ground for your sake. In toil you shall eat of it all the days of your life. Both thorns and thistles it shall bring forth for you.
You remember we spoke about this the first day?
Yeah.
Good.
And you shall eat the herb of the field.
By the way, Pastor Per, is Sarkozy going to prison or will not go?
They will just. No, I don't think so.
He will not go?
He's on drugs, but I don't know if he's sentenced yet.
He will not be sentenced? Will
Very close.
Will never sentence
the president?
They will do the same thing that they did to Chirac. They will just.
Chirac didn't go to jail.
He will be guilty, but not.
He's pardoned.
He will be pardoned at the end of the day. He will be guilty. That he can never escape it. But at the end of the day, because to them it will be a disgrace, a shame. There is that inner ego, just to cover up to the world. That how can you just be sending your president to the prison? So they will not send him to prison.
They will not send him?
No. They did the same thing to Chirac also. So he was guilty of the accusation, but at the end of the day, they just pardoned him and made him to pay some little things.
I think Mitterrand also had a problem later on.
Mitterrand had serious one also.
One, yeah.
Serious
but
one.
He didn't
also.
go to jail. Too.
No. France will never send his president to prison.
Do you think so, Pastor Per, that the president will never go to prison in France? Do you think a French president will never go to prison?
No, it's possible. I think it's possible.
It's possible to go?
Yes, ministers have been.
Ministers?
Yes.
But no president has been?
Not yet. No.
So maybe Pastor Wellington is correct then. But Brazil has just done it.
That's an absolute statement.
Brazil, they just did it in Brazil. The most popular president, is it Luna? Luna. They just sent him to prison. America also will never send the president to prison. They didn't send, what was his name, Winston? Or what was his name? The one that, Watergate. What was his name? Nixon. He didn't go to jail, did he?
No. They just put him down.
He resigned.
Yeah, but his subordinates went to jail. But they didn't send him to jail.
He admitted by resigning. So the fact that he resigned is already, he accepted his fault. But America will not send his fault.
Yeah, because a lot of people also are saying what Bush did, the junior Bush, that he was supposed to be in prison, but nobody is sending him to prison. But the presidents of developing countries, America and France, make sure they go to prison. But they do the same thing, but they don't go to prison. Like what the French president and the Blair, what they did in Libya, they are supposed to be in jail.
Normally. Yeah.
What they did in Iraq, saying there was weapon of mass destruction, destroy the whole country, remove the president. They are supposed to be in jail. Nobody is talking about. But they bring the African president to the Côte d'Ivoire. They brought the president. Yeah, he didn't even do what they did. He didn't even do as bad as they did. But they went and put him in prison. Yeah? Wow.
Yeah, like in Sierra Leone, the off-going
There was
president.
another one from Liberia. They put in jail.
Yeah. So he
Said,
probably
what they
might.
call it. That one was good. That one did a lot of bad things, though. Yeah, Charles Taylor.
Yeah. So yeah, he probably will, because during the Ebola time, like there was a lot of money that it was donated. He mismanaged it, so probably that's why he was trying his hardest. So the party still staying, so he can have
But
control.
his party
of it.
lost.
Yeah, his party lost.
So he might go to jail.
Yeah,
Huh? Ooh.
probably might go to jail.
Wow. The one I wanted them to take to jail from Nigeria, they didn't take him to jail. Abacha. Huh? God took him to jail. He went to hell. I think hell is worse than jail.
No turning back.
No.
Important notice. No nation or people are cursed as a result of the fall of man, but every nation is cursed.
You see the difference? You want to read that again?
No nation or people are cursed as a result of the fall of man, but every nation is cursed.
Which means every land.
Yeah.
Land. Because the land was cursed, but the people were not. So when you hear people saying the black people are cursed, don't believe them. When you hear people say the black people are carrying the curse of Ham, don't believe them. It's not true. It's not true. And unfortunately, even some black people themselves believe that story. I said if black people are cursed, then I'm supposed to be cursed, but I am a blessing. I know that for sure. And I didn't just prove that I'm a blessing in Africa. I'm a blessing to anywhere I go. Yeah, and I'm the one teaching everybody in any country. So how can that be cursed? That means the people I'm teaching are even more cursed than me. But you see, yeah?
I just want to share as I learn,
Yes.
becomes aware of this.
Wow. Matilda, is that a shoe? Is that a shoe?
Yes.
Wow, that is like a giraffe, something from, wow. Wow. Is that, is that a shoe or what? Wow. Wow. It's like some artwork. Some designs from somewhere like that. Are you sure this is coming from... I'm sorry.
Beautiful. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I've trained myself to always... I've trained myself to notice stuff. Because if I don't notice, somebody will get annoyed at me sometimes. I better learn the lesson. And I teach men, you better notice. Yeah, you better. You better notice. Take notice. If you forget that compliment, then don't run into trouble with me. Oh. If you are married and you don't notice things, I cannot guarantee your happy married life. Amen to that. All the girls are saying amen to that. All right.
It's a gift. Just for the few seconds to dissect what you said, what the reading that our teammate Chris read, to know that for me being stuck and being abused and suffered for a long time, the word curse was the halo over my head.
Wow.
The curse.
Are you serious?
The word curse. Because yes, I'll explain. I was married in Jamaica, and it's terrible about this witchcraft and voodoo, and this woman was with my husband, whatever. I can't say she take my husband play into it, and it was terrible for my life, miserable. So when I came to America, I saw this woman again. And then I take refuge to God in the church.
Okay.
So with my fear, I embrace the church to believe I'm sheltered.
All those doctrines and...
Yes. So I say now that God is covering me. So when I'm hearing those stuff that they're saying about, the miracle, the protection, all these
deliverance.
Things, deliverance. So I'm delivered. So I'm like, shelter, I'm like staying there. So then even for functioning, my brain like it froze. So I'm not moving. So each time my ears hear, I'm scared of what I know in my heart, and I'm not able to speak because I feel I have no protection outside of the church. So a lot of people are there because of one thing or the other. But I knew something was different.
Because they teach them that the anointing of the GO will protect them, or they have covering.
Yes.
What they say, don't leave the covering.
Don't leave the covering.
Yeah.
Because I stepped out 3 times. I used to listen to Bishop T.D. Jakes. I listened to Cornerstone Church. No, not Joel. The Cornerstone in Dallas. I forgot his name. It's the white man.
John Hagee.
John Hagee. So I listen to all these function, even though I'm there. As they say about in the bottom of the upside down pyramid. I was there, but I was kicking, but I can't go. I know, but I can't go.
Because that is how the church imprisons you. Because of the fear of curse, you are going to be cursed, you're going to be killed. You have the the enemy against you. You have the witches and wizards. The lady that took your husband is going to come again.
Yes.
So you have to be under the covering.
Yes.
You have to submit. You have to be under the pastor. You can get deliverance every day. Get deliverance every week.
You have to pay your tithe.
So you have
pay
to
your tithe.
And
Mortgage your house.
Yes. So if you multiply the
How many
tithe-
times did you mortgage your house? Once?
Once.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Because that is horrible. How can you mortgage your house and give the money to church?
But I'm in a dilemma because my house is off done.
My
I'm not
God.
living in a house, I'm living in an apartment.
My God.
So we just wrapped the house and put the roof on. So I'm struggling. But I feel...
The money she could have used to finish the house, she had given it out to those people. People are bold though. People don't fear God.
So now I know it's the land.
Yeah, it is the land that is cursed, not people. So that's all those 25 years that they kept you under the fear that you are cursed, you need deliverance, you need that for 25 years.
Yes.
It's not, God didn't curse man, you see.
When I try to go, they call me back. Somebody would always call and praying. And then my heart, and then the fear started to come back. So
Fear, that's what they use. In Nigeria, I say the greatest commodity they sell is fear. Fear is their commodity. That's what they sell. But you see, it is not the people who are cursed. It is not the people who are cursed. And not the nation that are cursed. It is the land that is cursed. If you read that scripture again, you will see it was you know, he wanted to punish he wanted to punish Adam. Then to Adam he said he wanted to punish Adam, but he didn't curse him. If he had cursed him, nations would have been cursed. But he said, because you have heeded the voice of your wife and have eaten from the tree of which I commanded you, saying, you shall not eat of it, cursed is the
ground. It would have been against his own principle.
Yes.
It's not possible for him.
He didn't curse the man. He didn't curse human being. He didn't curse human being. It's the ground. So he was supposed to punish it. He was supposed to direct that curse at him, but he deflected it to the ground. For your sake. It is for your sake. You see? This God, this God is a loving God, though. But the way they preach him these days is like he's angry and he's wicked and you have to be afraid and you have to be scared. No, this God is too loving. Even though when you are to blame, even though when you deserve, because he deserved that. He deserved that. That's why, for his sake, even though he deserved it, but God still deflected. Because of his mercy, loving kindness, this God. And you think he doesn't love you? Because what Adam did is, he was supposed to ruin the whole humanity. So what have you done? You have not even done anything. And then he loves you and gave his son to you, and you say he's going to be angry at you again, when he has given you the most precious thing, his own son. Yeah.
Just to just understand.
Clarify,
yes, just a little thing. I got the point, but what about the sin? How can we make the difference, like qualification between the sin? Is this sin a curse, even if it's not God who introduced it?
Yes.
But is it not a kind of cursed sin? Because man is not cursed by God, but could we, or what is
the consequences?
Yes, of the sin.
Yeah, of the sin.
Yes.
Yeah, there are consequences of the sin.
But it cannot be taken like
a curse. Yes, it's not. You cannot call it a curse because God was supposed to curse the man, but he deflected it. He didn't want that curse to come on the man. God is so loving. So, but he caused the earth. Why? So that you will still have the consequence of that sin. Because when you go to work, it will be hard. Before the food, and you didn't need to do that kind of, it was natural, it was coming. But now you have to feel the pain of it. So you still have consequences of your sin, but it's not the same as a curse. So now, when we sin today as well, we also have consequences. But, God is not going to go out of his way just to curse you like that. For example, in Malachi, when he says, cursed are you, but he's not talking to Christians, and he's not talking to even the Jews. He was talking to the leaders. Why was he saying, cursed are you? For example, what was happening is that he was not saying, I will curse you. You should notice that. God didn't say in Malachi, I will curse you for not giving tithe and offering. No. That's the way pastors preach it. But what he's saying is, he was talking to the leaders. Okay, let's say, Al, can you come? Chris. You are the PhD? Yeah. Okay. So now I will know, just for me to be informed.
So that you know that you are talking
Yes. So that I could be aware. So let's say Chris is the pastor, the senior pastor, the leader that is put in charge of money, revenue, so that he will use that money to take care of the widows of the orphans, of the strangers, and of the disenfranchised and the poor in the congregation. And now he's using all that for his own needs. And the widows are going hungry. The fatherless are going uncatered for. The poor are left. So God is saying, for doing that, what you are doing is a curse. Yes. You know, curse are you. You are bringing a curse on yourself because you are depriving people that are not just ordinary people that are okay. Not the ordinary people that, you know, that could work for themselves, that could cater for themselves, but these ones that are already down and out. These ones that are already helpless. It is either God said it or he said it is a curse. Now that curse is not saying I will curse you too, but he's saying what you are doing attracts consequences. You get it? That is, it attracts consequences. There is no way. First of all, you are supposed to be helping them. Yes. The way they are already poor out. You are supposed to even go and find your resources and go and be helping them. But now you are not helping them, but the thing they brought for them, you are now even taking it from them and depriving them. There is no way you will not have consequences. It is just nature. That's just the way nature is set up. It's not because God is going to cause or anybody is going to cause. Just consequences of evil. It will attack you. You know, you will not. But what pastors have said is that they are not telling you that it's that place in Malachi. He's talking to leaders of the synagogue of the church. That the things that are brought, they don't get to the people. And they are taken from the people to be given to the poorest. Because in the Old Testament, the poor are they never give tithe. They didn't take from them, but they are supposed to be collecting tithe for them. And then you are collecting everything and not even letting it get to them. Caused are you because of that. So he's saying because of that, the whole country is suffering. Because of that, there is famine, there is catastrophe, there is natural disaster. That's what he said. He's just trying to explain to them the causes, the tragedy, and the pain that you see around is as a result of your behavior. Cause are you? You are under that consequences of the evil. That is why all the things, because it was a dark age, that time in Israel. It was time that things were not working out. Everything was down. Nothing was, prospering. So he said, but you begin to do the right thing. If you will not see blessings again, I will open the window. When you begin to do, that's what he was just explaining to them. He was just explaining why the difficult situation in the country. Because you leaders were not. That is what was happening in Malachi chapter 3. He's not saying I will now do it. I will go and do it. No, he just explained it. It's just like saying that Nigeria now. It's just like saying Nigeria that why are we in this situation? It's just, you see, you are caused means you are not blessed. Things are not working out because you are supposed to have mercy on the poor. You are supposed to do this thing to build schools, build roads for people, take children to school, have mercy. But you are building empires. We are repeating the same thing in Nigeria. Our pastors today and our leaders, they are doing exactly the same thing that Israel was doing, and the land is not being blessed. Like that time, the land was not being blessed. It was like under a curse. Today also, the land is not being blessed because the pastors are licking their hands, and because they are taking even from the poor, they are taking from the widows. They are not even giving. In Nigeria, there is no tradition of giving to the poor. They are taking from them and building larger empires. How will the country be blessed? That is the lesson we are not learning from that Malachi. But everybody is talking about Malachi, but they are not really telling you the whole thing about it. And they are interpreting it as if it's the people who are caused. But he's telling the leaders, you leaders, you have done the wrong things. You have taken from the... That's why if you read verse 5 of that Malachi chapter 3, verse 5, he's saying, look, you are not paying salaries to the people who work. You are depriving them their salary. You are depriving the weak from what is belonging to them. The orphans, the widows, they are not, the things that are meant for them are not getting to them. That is why everything is falling apart. That is why you are cursed. That is why you are under a curse. You begin to do the right thing. Let them pay the salaries for the ones who are deprived. Let them give to the poor and the widows and the strangers. Let them, you take care of them. You will see that the blessings of God with heaven will begin. The windows of heaven. He's just saying, it's not saying physical windows of heaven. He's just saying the land will be blessed again. Prosperity will come again. Consequences of evil will stop because you stop doing evil. I hope you people got what they want.
Got it.
Yeah, take the microphone.
Because what Pastor just said now, a lot of people don't know. Even me myself, I used to believe that lie that God causes. There's even a message that the church preaches openly that God is a cursing God.
No, it's not possible.
Yes.
No, I can't believe it.
Yes.
You can't mention the name of the church.
Winners, Covenant Day of Vengeance. That's what they call it. Covenant Day of Vengeance. And they'll tell you that God is a blessing God, but God is also a cursing God.
Chineke.
They have serious problems
with their doctrine.
With the understanding. Yeah. And people are under that cloud. That if you don't do something,
God will curse you.
And they use that.
I mean, see Adam now. See Adam. Adam was qualified for a curse thoroughly, more than anybody. He was more qualified than any human being that has ever lived. And God just deflected that curse and put it on the soil, not on the human being, not on his image. Because man is his image and likeness of God. Now, there are causes for our actions, for consequences. Those are like causes. That's the way they work. But Jesus, even when he came, he even for that one took responsibility. Yes. Even consequences like that, the causes that might be attract cause, even that one, Jesus went and paid for it on the cross. Yeah. Even he went and took responsibility for that. Even when you are to blame, even when you have fault, he went and took responsibility.
Yeah, I just needed to mention that so that for those watching and for those who will eventually watch it, especially people in Winners, for them to know, because everywhere. Because, but I mean, in Winners it's so pronounced, it's so open, it's glaring. They will tell you, and they will tell it to your face that he's a cursing God. Koro, not no place. I just needed to mention it because it was a deliverance for me, myself.
But even Gio was saying it. If God calls you, if your senior pastor calls you, why should senior pastor be cursing anybody? What's his problem with cursing? Is the Bible say, bless and do not curse? Yes. That's what the Bible says. Bless and do not curse. Only blessing. We are only supposed to bless and not curse. Who is a senior pastor? What kind of senior pastor is he if he's cursing? You know, if your, what it is, a regional pastor calls you, if your area pastor calls you, if your national something calls you, why have they even called? Is it cursing, as we are talking about cursing as if he's going to the restaurant?
And if your geo curses you, then if you fast for 40 days, then maybe God will.
What kind of doctrine of curse is that?
Levels of curses.
Levels of curses. Levels of curses, eh? And that's how they put people under fear. Yes.
Pastor, maybe I think if you can do a broadcast about this topic, because this help when people realize that God don't curse, and even Jesus came to remove even the curses of the earth.
Yes.
And then it's very easy to connect with God in the relationship.
Yeah, because even the curse that was put not just upon human, but upon land itself.
Yes.
Jesus made sure that he was not crucified until they had gone to uproot that curse. He paid for it.
Yes.
Even the one on that land. This is how good this God is. if you know the goodness of God, even the one that was placed not on human, no. And now you are going to be saying your GO might cause if your senior pastor costs you in this one. When God is taking care of the soil, land cost that is put upon ground, He is going to the cross to remove, and you are now saying your GO will cost you, your senior pastor costs you. What is that? It means people don't understand the concept of this God. They don't understand the heart of God. This God, they don't know Him.
Just to add something, when people lose the real sense of God, people won't follow them. So they have to build, yes, a false image of God to manipulate people. That's what in dark ages they were terrifying people with the fear of hell, with the covering of the church. Always it came back, because people are losing the reality of God.
And they lose control over people.
Yes.
And they now come up with their own false image. Beautiful, beautiful, Pastor. Okay, let's continue. Can you read it again? Important notice.
Important notice. No nation or people are cursed as a result of the fall of man.
Do you know that people even come to my own platform up to today and try to convince me that black people are cursed? I mean, because they look at the realities of our challenges. If we are not cursed, why is it that our economy is not doing well? If we are not cursed, why is it that the governments, we never get it right with the government? But I said, okay, if we are cursed, why is it that our economy used to do well? That time, were you not cursed too? When our naira was more than $1, when is it not the same people? Okay, now what happened when Europe was doing bad? When France was totally outrun and destroyed by the enemy, not one time, so does that mean that they are caused? Germany, that is the reason for 2 world wars, they are supposed to be more caused. You are talking, we don't even have what we are having now is not even problem at all compared to the problems that used to be in Europe. Do you know that in Europe, out of plague, 20 million people died? We don't even have problem. We don't even have any problem at all. Why are they not caused? Which is more caused? Do you know that in Europe, if you have seen the horror that have happened in Europe, wars. Do you know that what do you call them? The Slavics, the people in the Scandinavia, what do you call them? No, they used to call them something. Huh? Vikings. The Vikings, do you know the kind of war? I mean, for 1,000 years, Vikings were demolishing the whole of Europe through war, going from the north to the south to England, to destroying everywhere. That is more cause than anything you could ever imagine in Africa. So you are talking about the realities of the problem of today. You are not because it's painful to you. You are not looking at it as a big picture of the history of the world and of the steps and the processes that every nation has passed through. If you have seen how other nations have suffered before they get to where they are now, the price that Europeans paid to be able to build Europe like this, they suffered like crazy. We are not suffering now at all. In Europe here, people used to, oppress each other. I mean, they used to kill each other, oppress. They used to own each other. Things were so bad. All these cathedrals that we are seeing, all these beautiful things we are seeing in Europe, millions of people use their lives to build them. slaves, slave work, wars, conquering, dominating. So we shouldn't use our present little temporary condition to say we are cursed. So if everybody is cursed, then Israel is cursed. Holocaust. Yeah. Sent out of their own house. Their country. Scattered everywhere. When they came out of Israel, there were 2 million. That was about 5,000, 6,000, 5,000, 4,000 years ago. They are just a little about that number up to today. If you look at other histories of other nations, and you will not say we are cursed at all. Okay, you say, but black people were the ones who were sold to Europe. Oh, yes, but not only. Do you know Irish people were also slaves? All of them, all Europe was slaves. But they don't call it slavery. They used to call it feudal. In the feudal form of government, what is feudalism? Feudalism is when one person is owing the whole village, and the whole village is working just for the big man that is there. Why did they have French Revolution? Because the king and some of the privileged people owned the whole country. The whole country was like slave.
They have to kill him.
Yeah, working to just sustain the aristocracy. That's what we're talking about. It's also slavery. So it is the only. So everything, processes have happened all over the world. So to now use that as an argument that we are cursed, I mean, it's not to know what you're talking about. So everybody, every country, every land go through some tough times and processes of, difficulties. Just overcome your own difficulties. Take responsibility. Fix your land. Don't make it spiritualize and think that cause is to blame, or Satan is to blame, or God is to blame. No. Take responsibility. Work. Why do you think that the Europeans were going to colonize Africa? You think they were going to colonize Africa because they were well-to-do here? The people they were sending to colonize in Africa, they were the poorest. Some of them are prisoners. Some of them were poor here. They couldn't eat. They have to send them all over there. Why were Europeans going to everywhere? They were looking for survival. They were looking for food to eat. That's why they were traveling everywhere to look for gold, they want to become rich, they want to make it. Just like we are traveling here now. They have done that too before. Why do you have so many French people in America? Because they were looking for survival. They wanted to eat too. Dutch people. English people. There was hunger in here. They were looking for wealth. They were looking for money. They wanted to live, because to live in Europe that time was to be like slaves to the few people who have money. So they were ready to do everything to go and get money from anywhere. They were gold diggers. And gold diggers were paying a lot of price of their lives. Do you know what it means to be on the ocean, on the sea, for months, for 6 months, for 8 months, for 9 months? It's killing. Yes. We are not even doing that today. So God didn't curse people. I remember that. God didn't curse any nation. No nation is cursed. God loves people. God loves nations. God gave his only begotten son for people. Okay, please, let's go.
No nation or people are cursed as a result of the fall of man, but every nation is cursed.
As a ground, as a land.
We spend our time trying to cast out demons.
Yes, that's what we're talking about. You see? You see what he's doing? Yes. See what that guy is doing? Ignorance. Somebody say ignomana. Yes.
We spend our time trying to cast out demons from people and breaking familiar curses, which also has its place. Yet we do nothing about the whole nation, the land that was cursed as a result of the deeds of man.
We're supposed to be taking responsibility for the earth. Build bridges, build economy, turn the desert into flourishing land like Israel did. Israel was taken. They were the beloved of God. God took them from Egypt and took them into the wilderness. And told them to make that wilderness to become a land where there is milk and honey flowing. They had to make that land become so flourished to become land, milk and honey from desert.
Isaiah 24, 1-3. Behold, the Lord makes the earth empty and makes it waste.
You see, the earth, the earth, not the man. Yes.
Behold, the Lord makes the earth empty and makes it waste, distorts its surface and scatters abroad its inhabitants.
Yes.
And it shall be, as with the people, so with the priests. As with the servant, so with his master.
That is what will keep on going on until man take responsibility for the earth. Because Jesus has brought redemption to the man. He has brought, all of creation are groaning and mourning like this. Until the manifestation of the sons to bring the earth also to the redemption and the glory of the glorious liberty of the children of God. Sons must make that happen. Yes.
Isaiah 24, 4-6.
Yeah, it's the same. Right.
Individuals could be helped, but the national issues will still be prevalent.
That's why we shouldn't just preach the gospel of salvation of individuals. We should preach the gospel of the kingdom that addresses not just the salvation of the individual, but also of the economy, of the spheres of influence, and of the earth itself, because the earth was cursed as a result. So redemption must be brought to the man and to the earth that was cursed for his sake. Yeah.
This is what was referred to in Genesis 3:18 as the thorns and thistles. Thorns and thistles are those things that make life miserable for the citizens of a given country and land.
You remember we mentioned this in the beginning?
Yes. I have discovered, having lived both in Africa and Europe and visited all continents of the world, that every country has our own share of thorns and thistles. In some countries, it is crime, violence. In others, poverty. In others, sin, abortion, divorce, depression, suicide, child's pregnancy, etc.
And all these things that you just mentioned now, somebody is supposed to feel in him that he has a calling to that area. That is a whole nation. That's a whole spheres of influence. So somebody needs to become the redeemer to that group of people, to that nation of people. Somebody has a calling, a burden, to one sphere. That is how you take responsibility to his sphere of life and bring the redemption of the sons of God, of children of God, to that particular sphere.
Hence, the gospel of the kingdom must address not just the individual sins, but also national sins and issues.
So for you to really preach the gospel, you must preach the gospel of redemption to the man, to individuals, and also to national issues that are confronting the land. So if you come from Finland, you must see all the national issues, the problems of the land, and be able to address it. Don't just leave those for politicians. Politicians didn't bring redemption to the national issues, and they cannot. Jesus brought redemption to the national issues. So if you are in France, you must raise up as a pastor individuals who will go and address each of those concrete national issues. That is how you pastor. And that is how you bring redemption of the sons of God to that whole earth. Not just to individuals, but to the land. And that is how you remove the thorns and thistles that came as a result of the sin of man.
It behoves us then to humble ourselves before the offended power to confess our national sins and to pray for clemency and forgiveness by Abraham Lincoln. That is why this message is essential to know what concrete steps could be taken to deal with concrete national issues.
Yeah, so I'm going to go more practical now, giving you more practical steps how you as an individual can deal with concrete national issues in your land.
Number one, if it has to start by spiritually uprooting the thorns and thistles and putting it on Christ because on the cross. Because on the cross, by his stripes we are healed. By faith, he was crowned with thorns, proclaiming him the king of your land.
That is the beginning, and that is what Christ has done. So what you need to do is to be aware that Christ has brought redemption. He has paid the price. So on the basis of that we stand. And we proclaim the redemption of the whole land. And as the basis of what Christ has done, I can go to that sphere of life and bring the redemption of the Lord there. Because Jesus has paid the price for it. So it gives you liberty, it gives you boldness, it gives you the faith. You know there is a reason for the redemption. There is a, the price has been paid. Just like for the forgiveness of our sins.
Matthew 27:29 to 30. When they had twisted a crown of thorns, they put it on his head, and a reed in his right hand. And they bowed the knee before him and mocked him, saying, "Hail, King of the Jews!" Then they spat on him and took the reed and struck him on the head.
You see what happened? Huh? You remember?
Yeah.
That with the redemption would never have happened without thorns. And that is what came as a result of what? The curse on the earth. And now that same thorn has to be remembered. And it came on the earth and it has to be uprooted from the earth for the redemption of the earth to be accomplished. That's why it has to be put on him. He carried all curses, all our sins, and the curse of the earth on himself. And then that is to lead to what? Crown. Because that thorn became a crown on his head. And that is supposed to say he is now the one that is the Lord of that. Instead of the thorns, he's uprooted and Jesus is put in the place of the thorn. He's now crowned as the Lord of that land. That's how we bring redemption to our land.
Number two, when you see abortion, crime, violence, divorce, etc., we must not just address the problem, but the cause, the root of the problem. Apply the principle of cause and effect. Defend the unborn against abortion, even if they persecute you, calumniate you, set traps for you, take you to court, or kill you, by Pope Francis. Number three, most societal...
So when we talk about addressing the cause of the issues, you remember what we said, that the reason, the cause of every national problem is not religion, it's not tribes and nationality, it is what? Sin. Sin. We always go to the root of all national problems. Okay?
Number three, most societal problems have their genesis in the home. Hence, families' lack of fathers are responsible for the nation's lack of values.
Yeah, so when you talk about values, a lot of values are missing in society when there are no fathers. So address issues in their root. Talk about the need to raise men, for men to take responsibility and all that.
It is not hard to make decisions when you know what your values are. Wrote Disney.
Beautiful.
Number 4, sexual purity before and after marriage are the cause
So
of...
we are taking concrete national issues. So one is fatherlessness. One is the first one was the problem of sin, then fatherlessness, then we have teenage pregnancies and all kind of promiscuity that we have in society. Yes.
Number 4, sexual purity before and after marriage are the cause of most problems of nations, like crime, violence, abortion, divorce, and etc.
Yep.
Number 5, programs from biblical perspectives must be written to address the root problems. Example, marriage preparation, party program.
So you have to have a program. You have to do a study and have a proposal on how to resolve that problem. So every problem that you are talking about, you don't just have emotions and have, zeal. You have to sit down, do the research, come up with a proposal of how you feel this could be resolved, or business plan, if you want, for every one of these issues. And if you want to do it, take some of my books, and you just see how to resolve different issues.
Example, marriage preparation, party program for youth, school curricula, etc.
Yeah.
Education without values, as useful as it is, seems rather to make man a more clever devil. C.S. Lewis. Number 6, poverty could be the consequence of injustice and lack of equal distribution of wealth and opportunities. It must be addressed because eventually poverty would lead to crime.
Yep.
Number 7, churches should take responsibilities for alternative national programs, setting the example with practical actions too.
So churches must take responsibility for the problems of the nations, not just building churches and buildings and singing praise and worship and jumping up and down. They have to take responsibility for national issues.
Number 8, school of fatherhood, school outreaches, etc. Number 9, national values, ideology, and vision must be promoted by the media.
Yep.
A nation's greatness is measured not just by its gross national product or military power, but by the strength of its devotion to the principles and values that bind its people and define their character. By Ronald Reagan.
Yep. Okay. So let's put on the light. All right. So dealing with concrete national issues, who knows now that really the church and we as Christians, we can make a difference in the nation.
Yeah. We have the answer.
We have the answer. But most churches don't preach these things. But the answers are right there, glaring in our eyes. And that's why I'm writing all these books. So, yeah, I want to hear your feedback from as many of you as you can before we move on. What would you like to say? Microphone. So, any lessons learned? Did you learn anything? Did you take anything for yourself? Nobody learned anything.
So I guess all of us here have a responsibility to do now. Like, so we are the answer. We supposed to go to the government and every area, because there is a solution. There is a problem. it's obvious there is a problem, and we have the solution. So what are we waiting for? So just go and conquer. That's all I have to say.
We have a problem, and we are the solution. We are the solution! There is a problem, but we are the solution. I know we've been looking what those big people are doing. But even among classes of people, there are so many people doing different things. For example, you see people selling insurances to the congregation. Pastors selling insurances that the insurance is useless.
Wow.
It's of no use. I've been a victim. There are so many things I've been a victim of.
Pastors selling insurance?
Yes, I've got typical example and I can name names too.
Thou shalt live by faith.
They sell insurance. I'm not saying don't do insurance. There are some insurance that are good. But at the end of the day, there are some insurance. You trust the person that is selling it to you. You don't read the little prints. You don't read the terms and conditions. You just, it's pastor. It's a man of God selling it. They will take the commission, but you are with useless. When you need insurance, you've not paid anything. Yeah. So, as people are doing it up, people are being crippled with unnecessary businesses, selling and buying in churches. Yes. We are the solution. There are so many things that needs to be corrected. I'm done.
Yeah, the only thing that we have been addressing is the problem. So the church, and I'm also guilty of it, and I guess many of us, that we're only superficial. We'll only look at the problem, but God is taking us to the root. And if we solve the root, everything will change.
Beautiful.
So yeah, that's my takeaway for today, for now.
Now, yes, go ahead.
Yes, I have seen the root of the problem. So I'm complete in myself.
Because the Bible says that the name of the Lord is a strong tower, and the righteous run into it, and he said, but he said the name of the Lord, he didn't say the church of the Lord. You know, the name is your personal relationship with him. You know, but people have said, it is the church. It is the organization. The Bible says, he that dwelleth under the shadow of the Almighty, he that in the secret place of the, you say it's about you in the secret place. No church, no pastor. But the one-on-one, personal relationship. But the way they have made people to be,
Yes, the creation was that it's an L factor. That was, the scientific or the spiritual function that exists around me. I can tell. It is God, the apostle, and then me. But I always say in myself,
syncretism,
where I have the big question. So, you have to go there to come back to me. And how much did you miss before you get to me? Because I'm a very curious person. I have questions. When I was, my mom beat me up at the age of 18 in the bathroom. Because I said she was doing my little sister. And my mommy, we grow old now. Look at me. She said, boom, 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 boom. I can't run. So I'm saying now, I was battered in a place where I'm an adult, but the ignorance of believing I'm cursed or I'll be cursed and all these things, and the root of not knowing that it's not me that is cursed, but the earth, the ground is cursed. The nation is not cursed.
Yes.
So having this knowledge today, I am complete.
Yes.
Coming to Ukraine, I'm a new, I have my rebirth, and I'm regaining my years. I've regained my years that I've lost, And I'm very excited just for the moment that I saw that. My head started to run like I would say like the washing machine. See now, I need those girls that I see in New York, and I need to touch all these people.
Yes.
I'm just visioning the different areas that I can actually reach, because I know before I was a wanderer, I was seeing these people and I was bringing them to church, and I was watching them being injured. And
What you need to do,
yes,
just take any one of these books.
I got that.
Begin to study with them.
Yes, I will.
For example, the black people, who said black people are cursed. Anytime you hear that, get a hold of this book. When you read this book, you will discover that black people are not cursed at all. We are so blessed, you will be amazed. In fact, I'm sorry, I'm going to do something right now.
Hallelujah.
I'm going to do something right now that is going to, for those of you who have not read the book, so just to let you know, you keep on talking, man. Keep on talking.
That book that Pastor Sunday's holding, I got it the minute he flashed it out of his mouth. Amazon on my phone right away. The next day I had it. I started. It wasn't too anything he says, and the light bulb go off. I know that there's more for my life. I don't waste time. November, the last week, I couldn't make it January because I did not know about my class for school, but I'm here now. And I'll say to anybody else, if you wait, you're going to lose it and lose more than you could ever imagine. Now is the time to advance, to get to the level that it's going to blow your mind yourself. Because for me, I haven't laughed for many years. And a couple of nights ago, I laughed till
For those, I'm going to talk now.
Okay.
For those who have not read this book, now in page 182 of this book, you will see inventions by black scientists that we still use up to today. What are the things that black people invented that we are using today? Air conditioning. It's invented by black people. Refrigerator, black people. Cooling system, black people. Clock, black people. Auto cut-off switch. Fishing device. Gear shift. Automatic gear car shift, black people. Baby carrier. Bicycle frame. Biscuit cutter. What's first blood banks. Electrical cell. Gamma electrical cell. Chamber comet. Clothes drying machine. Curtain rod. Curtain support. Door stop. Door knob. Dustpan. Egg beater. Mixer. Electric lamp bulb. Elevator. Lift. Eye protector. Fire escape ladder. Fire extinguisher. Folding bed and folding chair, fountain pen, furniture caster, gas mask, electro-acoustic microphone like you're using, modern guitar by black people, hairbrush, hand stamp, a modern horseshoe, ice cream scooper, multiple effect evaporation system, insect destroyer gun, ironing board, keychain, lantern, lawn mower, lawn sprinkler, lemon squeezer, a lock, lubricating coupler for engines and machines, lunchbox, mailbox, modern mop, modernized engine, peanut butter, pencil sharpener, record player, refrigerator, I've already mentioned it. But they just keep on going.
I'm black and proud.
Yes. So for you to say you are cursed, it's because you have not read the book. Yeah. Because they are not interested. Everybody is interested. If you don't tell your own story, nobody will tell it for you. Now they can do it in school after I've written it. Yeah, so that's to say God doesn't cause a nation and a people. No. So that's about that. How Africans brought civilization to Europe. Now, for you, what can you do? What can you do today? That's the name of the book. You are born to make your nation great. This is a book on how to take responsibility, personal responsibility, how to change a nation through personal responsibility. Okay. Every one of us could become the Abraham. Just like Abraham is the father of the Jews, that's how you could be father of a nation. How to become a father of a nation. This is what this book is called. How you could be the Abraham of your nation. Being the Abraham of your nation. That is how you could. And of course, this is the newest book in the shelf. The Death of Nations. The Death of Nations. Why countries fail. Why countries fail. The Death of Nations. But so that they will not fail, look at this one. Discovering the purpose and calling of nations. And you don't even find too many books where anybody writes about nations. No. Everybody's just thinking of survival. Sad. Now, for those of you who are pastors, this is a research book on the secret of the embassy of God. What made the embassy of God what it is. It's this man who came here and lived there for 6 months, just studying, they talking to everybody, looking for the secret. But this is mainly for pastors, because this is to show you how to build the doctrines of the embassy of God, everything in order, like a science. But it's one of the most interesting books you ever read. For me, because he writes so well, I couldn't believe it. So this is one of the most interesting books you will ever read. But it tells you about what makes Embassy of God tick, what makes a black man to go to a new country and be able to build the largest church in the country and the continent. So these are the secrets here, all the secrets, everything. How praise and worship works, how home groups work, how leadership works, how churches have opened and missionaries, something. Everything is here. Just the nitty-gritty of church life. It's called Missional Reformation for Discipling Nations. Okay. Then, of course, we have this popular book here. How to Transform a Nation Through the Power of Faith. How to Transform a Nation Through the Power of Faith. Yeah, this is where I was talking about St. Patrick of Ireland. And, of course, for you to see how church can bring the kingdom of God to every sphere of life, that's what this is about, the kingdom-driven life. How church can bring the kingdom of God to every sphere of life with practical examples. Who has read this book? What do you think?
I think it's fundamental of your message.
The kingdom message.
It's a biblical foundation.
Yeah, this is fundamental. It will show you practically how it's been done.
I think it's one of the best books.
Yeah? Kingdom-driven life. I think so too. Just like Church Shift. Of Church Shift.
Yeah, but this is like
Practical, phenomenal.
I think this book, I read Church Shift, then I read this one, but this one, it's true. People say Church Shift, I have to go for this. And if you ask me to pick, I will go for this.
Yeah. We have good connection because I read Rick Warren, King
Church driven, purpose driven.
And that was more about individually our life. But when I came here after reading this, I could see this is serious stuff. Yeah, because that's one of a book. It's 30 million million people been recorded very strong.
Purpose-driven life.
Yeah. When I come here, it was more because I'm so attractive of a kingdom concept. This is for me. And then in my church, I started to be more inspired for of course, because this is serious in a way like it's things we don't see. We see ourselves, but this we don't see, which is our mission.
Yes, yes.
After finishing reading it gave me the ability to know that I'm part of the kingdom, that I can do something for the kingdom. Yeah, it's really motivated me.
Before, the kingdom used to be somewhere in the spirit.
Yes. I think it's just going to church and then just keep going to church and serve. But this one is like practical. I was able to.
You wanted to say something. Okay.
This exile, when you talk about we make church, we run away from problem. Where is problem in society? We come. This is a good place for exile. And
Escape.
Yeah, I made a review on Amazon on this book. And
okay.
Yeah, and what I said, if you die as a Christian without reading the book, you've done yourself a very great disfavor.
This without reading the kingdom-driven life.
Yeah. For me, like you said, the kingdom has been mystical, has been like a spiritual, whatever. You can't really touch it. Mirage. But after reading the book, it became substance. You could touch it. It's like you could know that you're living in it. You're living in it. Everything just became like, I said, where have I been? It's been like the kingdom has always been like a distance. Even sometimes you hear messages that tells you, okay, the kingdom is in you and all that, but you ask, how can the kingdom be inside of you? You didn't know, you understand, you don't know what that kingdom is until I read this book. In fact, I told myself, I penned it down that this book I'll read it at least once every year. Every year I'll read it once, every year. Because it was, I don't know how to put it, like a scale just came off my eyes. It's amazing. I believe it's
Grace wanted to say something. You read it, Grace?
No, I'm not ready, but I'm simply amazed at, how will I put it? It's like the more we get closer and read more, this is like you think you know. It's like each time I drop, it gets into the eye. You're seeing. Let me talk for myself. I'm seeing things clearer. I'm seeing things clearer, and to think that there are still people where I used to be,
it's scary.
hurts me.
It's scary.
Yeah, it's painful. About this thing you talked about, curses. I know a famous man of God in America that used to emphasize, Kenneth Copeland, how the black people were the children of Ham.
No, it's not possible.
Yeah.
No, it's
and
not
because
true.
he did not, because he looked, when the dad was drunk, he saw the nakedness, that he was cursed. And there's always a way he used to unconsciously segregate. Yes. Look, when I'm talking,
he received it from the agents. It was the agents that passed it to him.
I don't know about the Higgins because I've listened to Higgins, but for him in particular, he always starts with most of his conferences were always. When I call a man of God, it's because I follow their teaching to a point wherein there was no more puzzles in my life for them to feel. Okay, so this was something that for you to have
you had yourself.
Absolutely, and this not. I didn't get born again today.
No, you had Kenneth Copeland talk about it.
He always emphasizes that the black race is. Because he saw his father's nakedness, that was why it was like there was a special problem with him. Meanwhile, the problem was with the land, and Jesus paid the price. Jesus paid the price. I know so many people that every day they are going for deliverance. I thought I wanted. Do you want to be delivered from yourself? The personality God given you, someone is convincing you that you're cursed. What do you want to be delivered from?
Today is your day.
Yes.
For deliverance. Don't miss it.
So this thing is, I don't know how to explain it. I bought the book and I've not read it.
I think so. I think you need a special series on this.
I didn't know that this is even happening.
It's a problem. Yes. It's a problem.
Serious.
So I need to do a special.
Yes, it needs to take us out.
And another thing that, please let me finish my own, I will give you my microphone. Another thing that dawned on me as you were preaching was this. What makes Europe and other developed nations fantastic is because they've created a system to take care of their needy.
Yes.
So even if Nigeria don't, even if we don't do any other thing, but we create a system that we distribute to those in need,
Yes.
we are now going to be free from the consequences
Yes.
of the curse
Yes.
on the earth. Because
Yes.
if we do everything and we're not taking care of our needy,
Yeah.
we're not taking care of those that need. Like even in Nigeria, to the point that if you say, call somebody now in Nigeria and tell them, please organize all the widows in my place, let me give them something,
Yeah.
they will discourage you.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
They will discourage you. They will say, don't give them your money, that they will go and use it for juju or something. We have, oh my goodness.
But even the old tithe thing was God's program to take care of the needy.
Yes.
It was God's strategy. It was for the sake of the needy and the poor that God set up the tithe program.
And those collecting it don't know they're the ones that are
Yeah.
not letting it.
Yeah, go to the people who need it.
For me, the whole concept of writing books, some people may not read, but the topic alone has finished everything. And then
Each title.
has made some point for some people. But then when you now start reading, it's like somebody is massaging your brain. And you can't even sleep. You can't even sit down. And you're thinking, is this real? Can this be happening for 30 years in sitting down in church? Is this practicality? So can this be happening? Is this what love is all about? Is this what giving is all about? Is this so for everybody saying, oh, is this saying not to pay tithe? That is not, we are not facing the issue here. It's about the roots, transforming nation, transforming individual, transforming, oh, please. Next.
Life is a possibility. When I start reading Life is a Possibility, because
Life is an opportunity.
Life is predictable. That's the word. Thank you for the correction. Predictable. And I opened the book. I started to read it, and I'm like, life is predictable. And I'm reading, and I'm examining myself. All this time, I need.
I think pastor don't even tell people
I can
like
make
that.
decision. I had a closed mind. What's going on? I'm always wanting deliverance. And then I'm like, oh, how long the deliverance lasts? Because I'm always saying, if I get a deliverance, how comes you come again and say you want to deliver us? I'm always saying about, yet I'm going forward. You come last week and deliver us. And then you come back and you say you're healing me. And then you come back and you say, I'm going to get a miracle. And I must give this portion of money. I even leave the purse in the car. But when I sit there, my heart is, I'm going crazy. Oh, I have to go outside, go get my pocketbook. Because I can't miss this deliverance. Or I cannot miss this miracle.
Sad.
So I was
Pastor
worn
Perry,
out.
you wanted to say something?
Thank you. I was in Ivory Coast 1 week ago, and I said to the pastor, please, let's be delivered from deliverance. One more thing I want to add about this story, about the descendant of Cham. Like black people are cursed. You know that the esclavagists use this to convince the people that to justify esclavagism.
You mean the colonizer?
Yeah.
Colonialism.
Yes, they use this passage to say, yes, the sons of Noah, so the black people are the descendants. So
they use it as an excuse to
justify
slaves.
Yeah, to justify
slave
slavery.
trade.
So how can a Christian today preach this? It's crazy.
You know, I didn't know that Kenneth Copeland would do that, but since Grace said it, but can you find the video? I will try. Or audio? No, it is Kenneth Hagin that changed. Kenneth Hagin changed because, you know, Kenneth Hagin was preaching that. But Fred Price, who is a black man, was a disciple of Kenneth Hagin. So when he now said, I'm one of your top 7 disciples in the country, and you are preaching about black men like this. So he went on television and started fighting Kenneth Hagin. And said that, no, how can you say, because they even went ahead to say, you know, Kenneth Hagin's son, Junior, was now saying, because of that he would never allow his children to marry black persons. Kenneth Hagin, not be say pastor, but Kenneth Hagin, Junior said that. So that was when this guy was so mad. What was his name? Fred Price. There is a man they call Fred Price too. Yeah, yes. He was so mad that he now said, no, that is how they fought and split it. And say, how can I be cursed when we are doing this thing? And yes. And that is how the whole thing scattered.
But many blacks in Africa
They still preaching that.
were still traveling from Nigeria to their
Conferences.
and still sitting down there.
It's totally wrong.
It's totally wrong.
Totally wrong. Totally wrong.
No, it's not even black race. That harm even. I'm going to do the research. You wait. You wait for my answer. That even harm is not black people. It's Egypt. It's Egypt and the Arabs. But they are using it as black people just because of the colonialism and because of the slavery.
Yes. And just one more thing about the HMT, I want to thank you for the teaching. And for me, what I get the most is that I had the spiritual insight, for example, that Jesus redeems all curses, even the land curses. But you have a unique way to convert it into practicality. And now I have the reason why, but I know how to do it, how to implement it. So from the first step. So that's what I take, and I'm going to convert it. And I want to thank you for everything.
Amen.
So good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I've always known God as a God of principles. That I've never missed it. I've never missed that. That God, they always teach us, but somewhere there, I was always there, and I was always saying, look, this is not mine. I'm not cursed. I am not cursed. I've been holding to this Genesis chapter 2, verse 20, chapter 8, verse 22, that while the earth remained, seed time, harvest time, daytime, etc., that they will not cease. Now, this is a principle. He put it in place. So we have the cause and effect system on ground, which means really anything that comes up is as a reason of what I sow. It is not God that is bringing it. He went further. It is this one that I really want to share with us. Jeremiah chapter 33, verse 20. Because people just always limit it to the book of Genesis chapter 8, 22. Thus says the Lord, if you can break my covenant for the day and my covenant for the night, so that day and night will not be at their appointed time. Now, there was a consequence as a result. Now, it's not talking that, it's not saying that he will bring a curse or that he will be the root of everything that man will experience. But rather, if we will not do the right thing at the right time, what I'm so to do in my daytime, if I start doing it in the night, I will not receive the blessings that I'm to receive in the day. Why? He's the one that created the day and created the night. So what I'm to experience in the winter, if I don't do it and I'm start doing it in the summer, I will not experience the blessing that himself has deposited during the winter. So God has put some things in place. As many that desire to receive those blessings at those appointed times, they must key into it. A man that desire, God is showing him something and that he needs to carry it out, execute it at the age of 20. And he keeps on staying there, remaining stagnant, saying, look, I have time and I have time. At the age of 80, you won't have the same physical strength.
That's right.
You will not be able to carry it out. No matter how you say God again is still speaking. So we see all these things in place. And these are oftentimes things they don't always tell us. And they put God in that position of the wicked God, the God that does evil, and that is not God. So we also need to leave this place because it's often very easy to hear good things like this. Let me tell you how it always happens. I've attended conferences organized, big conferences. We human beings, let me tell you who we are. We will experience such, and that once we leave the place, once we leave the place, 1 week after, 1 month after, it is then we will start doing something else. So there are solutions. There are things we can also do to keep this fire burning. Are we getting what I'm saying? Yes. There are things we can do to keep this fire burning. We've seen cases of my dear brother Christian that keeps on coming to the same HMT. It's wonderful. In other words, he wants to receive more and more. We've seen our dear Sister Grace, who was also here. Meaning what? It must not only be one HMT. Are we getting what I'm saying? What you hear will affect you directly, and it is for you now to choose. Do I want to remain in this atmosphere of revelation? We must not be expecting one angel to come in the night. No. Get yourself in this atmosphere all and all. On Monday, there are going to be some series that he will be teaching. Try as much as possible. Don't allow this fire to die. Are we communicating? Amen. Very, very important. This same way, you will keep on just connecting yourself to this fact, to this valid truth. Let me help also. Let me help also. It's another way of making it practical. You see, there are people outside there who will never believe this that you have received. You will try to convince them. You will do everything to bring them to the knowledge, that knowledge that you and I have received. But Sama, there comes a time you have to identify time wasters. So if I and you keep on surrounding ourselves with people, on Monday you get yourself surrounded by people who do not have this saying. They will swallow. They will take away all these things that you have received. So if you want this thing to be permanent, applicable, a long-time solution, it is you who have to make that decision that I've received it. I have to surround myself with the same people who have the same knowledge. So we can leave this place connecting ourselves, have the same contact, get ourselves connected on the Facebook, and by so doing, we'll be seeing ourselves every day. We'll be discussing the same thing. Let me stay here.
I just wanted to add something to what Pastor said, and it's just to encourage us. There's something I came across, a principle, I think in network marketing, and they said the principle of 72 hours. Meaning when you attend a conference, you attend a teaching, you're motivated and all that, if you don't take step or do something or make a move or take an action within the first 72 hours, the chances that you will do it plunges down to about 20%. If you don't do it, immediately you leave. Either, like you said, even if it is writing it down, praying about it, talking to somebody, calling. Just do something about what you have identified. Within the first 72 hours, the zeal, the passion with which you left has just gone down. But when you do it, you continue to maintain that momentum. So just something I wanted to share.
For me, it's God's business. Anybody here that attended this, you can't go back to your old life. You will live. Even if you will be hearing God doing your door, jaga, 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 jaga. You have to live, because it's not just about individual. It's about a community. It's about an atmosphere. It's about a connection. For me, what I've seen here is more than a book of a lifetime, because it's practical. It's practical. You can touch it. You can feel it. People in the kitchen are saying, are they okay? Pastor is not there. They can't speak what I speak. Okay, I'm okay. You ask after each other. You know, there are certain things that if it's in your head and God saved you for a purpose, the purpose of God must not be wasted over our lives. So I believe if you are here, whether it's slow, somebody sing, whether it's little by step, somebody else will drag you. Yes. Coordinator is here, he will drag you. I know she too is dragging herself. But we are our responsibility. And not even that. Pastor is here. He won't let us go. So praise the Lord. Hallelujah.
Oui, finally, deliverance. Yes. Today, so many people, they are delivered. Why? Because the truth is here. Yes. Most of people, they go to church, but they can't understand what is the word of God. They are passive, just to go and come, and just like waste of time. I give advice for pastors. Please, don't joke with with word of God, because it's important, a principle. Don't joke with the life of people. Don't cheat them with their problems, weakness, pain. You are bandage these people with false preaching. This is maybe most of people, they are perished with the lack of knowledge. Don't believe them. Okay, I am not against church. The church is important if there is truth. Without truth, it is distraction. For me, as I discovered that most of church, they are the group of antichrist. The same thing. For example, when Jesus was in desert, Satan he's tried with the word of God. He asked him, if you are the child of God, the son of God, why don't change this stone in the bread? Why? Because he knows the word of God. Everybody, even Satan, he's most intelligent than you. He knows what is the word of God, but he is not revelation. So it's better to know, to have relationship with God, to have a personal relationship with him. Everybody can receive healing, can receive freedom, can receive everything when he has a good relationship with God and when he knows who is he. So mostly the persons who has a grade qualification, they didn't want to study or to read the Bible because they are discouraged by preaching of most pastors. They are insignificant. So I advise you, if you read the book of Dr. Sunday Adelaja, he wrote in the manner of deep in all direction, in philosophy, scientific, and life history, in every camp of life. It's explained more and deep, so you can understand more and more what is the Bible. So please, I advise you, all people who want to be the Christians, don't believe only on the pastors and on the church. You are the temple of God. Thank you.
I just want to tell our viewers one little thing. For me, I think the greatest recovery is recovering self. Just try and discover who you are, because this is what I got from knowing DSA. I discovered myself, and I thought for me to be able to function well, I have to learn, equip myself, make myself ready for the work, for the purpose that I discovered. So I tried to equip myself, by reading most of his books. I've been quiet for some months now, and what I've been doing is reading books of DSAs and listening to a series on Sunday Adelaja officials.
On YouTube.
On YouTube. If you go there, there's so many series that can equip you and that will bring true revelation to you. So, doing that, I've got so many information with me now that I think I can be part of Nigeria transformation. I can be part of it, and I'm even here. I'm ready. So, and I think that can apply to anyone as long as you make up your mind. And as of now, I've been able to participate in doing some of the reformation in Nigeria. And normally, that kind of thing, I would always think it's never something I can do. I never, when I go to Nigeria, I see those problems. All I do is just shake my head and feel so sorry for them and start shifting the blames on the government. But I didn't know that I'm part of the solution. That, so knowing him, I was able to discover myself and say I can. So I have been solving problems, even in a little way. I've been solving problems, and that even last December I had to travel to Nigeria to see those children, and seeing them.
Which children? You better let them know. Not everybody.
Oh, the orphan.
You decided to take responsibility.
Yes, sir. For sending some kids to school.
Back to school.
Back to school. About 35 children. Wow.
And you are going to be paying for their school fees?
Yes, sir.
You are paying for their school fees?
Yes, sir. We've even
for 35 children.
We've paid for the whole year. It doesn't cost much.
But nobody is doing it.
Yes.
So
They are 10 million out of school.
yeah.
If it doesn't cost much, why are they out of school?
Yeah. So
It's the heart you
it's
don't
not
have.
anything big. It's something that anybody can do. But we even say we don't want them in private school. We put them in. I mean, we don't want them in public school. We put them in private school.
Private!
And then when
That is even more expensive.
Yeah.
But you see, this is the same person that used to go to Nigeria, used to see those problems, and used to just shake her head. Shake her head.
Yeah. So.
But now she got confidence, faith in herself, faith that she can change the world, not just shift the blame to the government.
To the government, yeah. And then went with some, clothing, school bag, books, shoes. I couldn't believe what I did. I'm so proud of.
And you've been in church all these years, 20-something years?
Yes, forever.
And what were you doing? You see, these are the things that churches are supposed to be teaching. Can you imagine that somebody has been in church for 20-something years and never saw the need? Never saw that she, as a Christian, say, why are you a Christian? So what does it mean to be a Christian? And then there are many millions in Nigeria, Christians, who are just like the way she was for 20-something years, who don't see their role or the need to that they can even do anything. What is this? That's why that's why we must wake up the church. And people think I'm against individuals or calling out names. No. You're getting it wrong. I'm just trying to provide arguments and proofs to what I say, so that what I say don't come out as accusations that are baseless. So I need to substantiate my arguments. And because if I had just been talking about things that are wrong in the Nigerian church, people will say, it's just those small boys. It cannot be my pastor. It cannot be my GO. No, it's not our fathers. No, the fathers are good. Everybody is good. But only some crazy guys. But when I now begin to produce videos of the activities of the very reverend men, and that we will see that the fish rots from the head, and that our whole concept, the gospel we preach, and the doctrine is what is wrong. It's not, people are good, the GOs are good, bishops are good, people are good, people are God's image, but people might get it wrong. And that's what we are saying. So we don't criticize GOs or bishops. We are just saying, practices are wrong, this practice is wrong, this doctrine is wrong, let's change it. And we have to mention the people who are doing it, so that you don't live in an illusion that is just some fringed out people who are lost sense in doing. No, all of us are wrong. We all need to take responsibility.
Yes, sir. So lastly, I tried to partner with Victor Bamishaye, and we're working hand in hand. And the next agenda on the list is that he's going to set up a system where we're going to be introducing those kids to DSA's book, so that we start putting values into them, so that we make sure that they are not just...
one little woman here, I'm looking at you. She's a widow, this lady here. She lost a very great husband, champion husband, like Wall Street worker, and died rather young with 4 kids, 4 kids behind. They are all in colleges. She has to pay for all the school fees of the children and herself. And still, now, when the burden is on her alone, she got to hear the gospel of the kingdom, and she could not concentrate on pitying herself and saying, I have my own problems enough. It is now that she's alone even. She now said, no, even in my own pain, I must reflect the kingdom and God and God's love. 35 children, private schools in Nigeria. You know what that means? I didn't go to private school. Most of you maybe didn't go to private school. But she is paying for 35 children. And she said she already covered all the costs for 1 year. 35 children. Do you know how many Nigerians can afford that? Many. And she's wise. She's now using her tithe to do that. Before, she used to give that tithe to some churches. She doesn't even know what happens to them. So, she used to go to Redeemed. And that's a big church. They already have enough money. They will not even know you don't pay tithe because they have already too many people, too much money there. So, but people, those children, that tithe will make a difference in their lives. But the church will not even notice that if you are putting or you are not putting. But those children, it's not just that they will not know, they will notice. Their lives will change forever.
Yeah.
And I just think how many people can still do the same.
Yeah, and we're still going more. We're just going to take all those kids out of school. I mean, out of
streets.
The streets and put them in school.
Now, talking about curse, that's what we spoke about today. Yes. That no nation is cursed. Yes. And only the land is cursed. So, I was very touched by what Grace said. That Kenneth Copeland is teaching that the black people are coming from Ham and we are cursed. I know that Kenneth Hagin used to teach it, and he stopped it and retrieved that teaching. He withdrew it from even all his books because Fred Price protested against it. And he was his foremost disciple. But to hear that other people are still teaching, I'm sure it's not only Kenneth Copeland that is teaching. Okay, maybe other people are still teaching it. And you said now, too, that even some Africans teach it. So if that is the case, it means even if Africans would teach that about themselves, that is so, because they just believe everything that is coming from America. But let me quickly give you, because I said, you people said I must do a teaching on this, and that the man is not cursed. It is the land that God cursed. But let me quickly give you, just in case, for your sake, just in case you will need to argue or talk with somebody in the future. Somebody, just be ready to open Bible passages and read for us. Okay? You have your microphone there so that you'll be able to read to us. Okay. Now, so if anybody tells you that Ham was caused, I don't know if we should read the story or not. Maybe should we read the story? In that section, okay. Let's go to Genesis chapter 9. Genesis chapter 9, yeah. Because I think you should just have, at least have some understanding of this. And so that forever we will never be deceived again. Because everything is in the Bible. But other people's interpretation might be faulty. Can we read from verses 18 to 28? That's Genesis chapter 9, verses 18 to 28.
Genesis chapter 9, verse 18 to 28. The sons of Noah who went forth from the ark were Shem, Ham, and Japheth.
So how many children did Noah have? 3. What are their names?
Shem, Ham, and Japheth.
Okay, good.
Ham was the father of Canaan.
Okay, there is a reason why the emphasis, out of all those 3 children, there is an emphasis that was made on Ham. And then, out of all the children of Ham, there is an emphasis that is made on Canaan. Because there is a big story coming that's going to follow now. See that? That is underlined. That is, after saying about all others, they brought that out specifically. And that's because so that God doesn't want us to make mistakes. This God is a smart God. He is underlining those 2 words. Remember, Ham is a son of Noah. Canaan is not a son of Noah. Remember? So let's do it again. The son of Noah is Ham, Shem, and Japheth. And Ham is not even number 1. Ham is number 2. Now, but Canaan is not a son of Noah. Remember that. But Canaan is a son of the son of Noah. And whose son is Canaan? Ham. So therefore, Noah is the grandfather of Canaan. Okay, but the father of Canaan is Ham. Okay, so let's read it again. 18.
18. Genesis chapter 9, verse 18 to 28. 18. The sons of Noah who went forth from the ark were Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Ham was the father of Canaan. These three were the sons of Noah, and from these the people of the whole earth were dispersed.
So all the nations you see now, they come from these three families. Europeans, Asians, and everybody else. So we'll see now where Africans come from, and who are Africans, and who are Europeans, so that you will see who is caused and why. Is it the black man that is caused? Let's see.
Verse 20. Noah began to be a man of the soil, and he planted
What version are you reading in the first place?
ESV.
What is ESV? Read King James now. Waiting Apple. King James or New King James.
Okay. Let me look for New King James.
I see that he's reading some strange something. Who knows ESV? What is ESV?
Okay, New King James. English Standard Version. Okay, New King James. I'll start from the beginning. Genesis chapter 9, verse 18 to 28. Verse 18. Now the sons of Noah who went out of the ark were Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And Ham was the father of Canaan. These three were the sons of Noah. And from these the whole earth was populated. Verse 20. And Noah began to be a farmer, and he planted a vineyard. 21. Then he drank of the wine and was drunk, and became uncovered in his tent. Verse 22. And Ham, the father of Canaan, saw...
See the emphasis? Ham, the father of Canaan, even though Canaan is not the only child. It's not the only son of Ham, but the emphasis keep on going to Ham, the father of Canaan. There is a message God is trying to pass to all of us. Yes, so keep on paying attention.
Verse 22. And Ham, the father of Canaan, saw the nakedness of his father, and told his two brothers outside. 23. But Shem and Japheth took a garment.
Now, you see, who saw the nakedness of the father?
Ham.
You see, it's not Canaan who saw the nakedness, but who?
Ham.
Ham. Okay.
Yeah. Verse 23. But Shem and Japheth took a garment, laid it on both their shoulders, and went backward and covered the nakedness of their father. Their faces were turned away, and they did not see their father's nakedness.
Yes.
Verse 24. So Noah awoke from his wine, and knew what his younger son had done to him. Then he said, Cursed be Canaan.
No, wait. Who should be cursed? I set you up. I set you up. You see, you didn't get it. You didn't get it. It's not Ham that is caused.
I know. You said the question you said. You asked.
I said who is caused.
No, you said who should be.
Okay, maybe it's a mistake. I wanted to say who is caused.
Who should be? No. I heard who should be caused. You heard who is caused.
No. PSA said who
Should be caused. Okay.
And when he read was cause is Canaan.
Ham should be cursed. But who is cursed? Oh. So there is a reason why the Bible kept on saying, the Ham, the father of Canaan. Here, Ham, the father of Canaan. Now, who saw the nakedness? Ham saw the nakedness. I need two people here. Please, sir. You two come. No, okay, you come. You wanted to be the one to come, right? Why do you want to be the one to come this time? You want to get the lesson? By all means. Yes. Okay, you are the father. You are Ham. I'm sorry. But this is an illustration. So this is Ham. And this is Canaan, the son. Please stand here. Two of you stand here. And Noah. Okay. Let you be the Noah now. You look like one. Come here. This is Noah. Go. Bring your clothes. Bring your clothes. Yes.
Not naked.
Not naked. Sit down. So, two people. Okay. Yeah, two people. Come. You know, there are three sons of Noah. You come aside. No, you are grandson. You come here. So these are the three sons of Noah. Okay, this is Ham. This is Noah. So he came to report. He saw what happened to the father. Came to report to the brothers. The brothers turned back. Yeah, they went to. You see, they are not looking, but they covered their father. So they are saved. Now, but who sinned? Come, two of you come still. Who sinned? Ham sinned. He didn't sin, but he was making jest of the father. Okay, so you go and retire first. We'll come back to you later on. So now, after the thing has happened, remember, one thing you must pay attention to is that who cursed? Who cursed? Who pronounced the curse? Noah. Was it God?
No.
Remember that. Because the way they preach is, these preachers, when they begin to preach, they say God caused Ham. First of all, read that verse again. What verse is that?
New King James.
Verse 23 or 22?
Sorry. 24.
24. Okay, read that verse 24 again.
It says, so Noah awoke from his wine.
Yes.
And knew what his younger son had done to him.
Yes.
Then he said, cursed be Canaan.
Who said that?
Noah.
Noah, he woke up and he is the one who caused, not
Ham.
Who saw the nakedness?
Ham.
But who was caused?
Canaan.
Who is the son of Ham? But it's not the one who was cursed. Why? Good question. Why? Come, sir. So this is the one that was cursed. Why? You'll see why now. Keep on going.
Starting again from 24.
Yes.
I'll read. So Noah awoke from his wine and knew what his younger son had done to him. Then he said, cursed be Canaan, servant of servants he shall be to his brethren. And he said, blessed be the Lord, the God of Shem, and may Canaan be his servant.
So is the curse coming on Ham?
No.
Have you heard the name of Ham in that curse?
No.
Because people who are using this argument that Ham was cursed, they are not even careful in reading. Yes. They are not even analytical. They are not even detailed. They don't even pay attention. They just need justification for slavery. They just need justification for slavery. That's all. Let's keep on reading. Yeah.
May God enlarge Japheth, and may he dwell in the tents of Shem, and may Canaan be his servant.
Tell me, did you see Ham again here?
No.
Okay, Ham is no more in the scene. But now let me now tell you what you don't know. there are only 3 sons that came out of because there was the ark and the flood. The whole earth was already destroyed. So there are only 3 families, only 3 family groups. So if this one has his own children and his own lineage, this one has his own children and his own lineage, this one has his own children and his own lineage. Now, if any one of these is caused directly, 1/3 of humanity will be caused. I don't know if you are getting there. Because he, for example, Ham, had 4 children. And that one, Canaan, is the fourth, the last born out of 4 children. That is why it was the only one that was cut off by the curse. There was, apart from him, there are still 3 other children that are his descendants. And it is, let me now tell you, who are those 3 children? So there is one that is cursed. You are different family groups. So apart from this, there are 3 more. 3 more in between. But because the child is the last one, and he needed to punish, is one of the, if he had punished him, or the 1, 2, 3, 4, and it will be 1/3 of the whole earth man. You see? Glory. God is a merciful God. God will not allow that to happen. The same principle that was used by God himself with Adam, when Adam was the one who deserved to have been cursed, who was supposed to have been cursed, who was supposed to be punished, God diverted that curse from him to the land for the sake of humanity. Because in that case of Adam, all humanity would have been cursed. So that humanity would not be cursed, he directed it to the earth. The same principle is working here. Nowhere in the Bible was Ham ever cursed. Ham was not cursed. His first son was not cursed. His second curse was, his descendants were not cursed at all.
Jesus.
Only his last son took as a sacrificial lamb. Took that one. Now, now let me continue. If you keep on reading in the genealogy of Noah, you will discover that there are 4 sons that Ham had. What are their names? Mizraim. How do you know? You remember? Okay. One of the sons, the first son of Ham, this Ham that we are talking about, he has 4 sons. What are their names? Cush is not number 1 son. The first son of Ham is Mizraim. He got it right. Mizraim. Now, then the second son is Cush. Now, who is Cush? Okay, let's say that, come, Ethiopia. There are 4 sons. You two come. 3, we say sons, but we put women this time as example. Those are your children. You stand in front. You are just second born. You are from Ethiopia. And that is the black person. So you are second born, first born, yes. Where is the third born? Okay, you are going to be the third born. So all these races would have been cursed. So the firstborn of Ham is Mizraim. Now, who is Mizraim today? Egyptians. Egypt. You know, your pastor knows. So all the Arabs, Egypt people, Egypt itself, Egyptians, Egypt, Morocco, and things. So they come out of Mizraim. And then the Ethiopia, Cush is known as Ethiopia or black. Cush is the descendant of all the ascendant, all the forefather is the forefather of all the black race. All the black race come from Cush, Ethiopia. Cush or Ethiopia gave back to all the, but he was not cursed. Mizraim was not cursed. Cush was not cursed. The third child is called Put. Put, that is Libya, Tunisia, Mauritania, all those other people, those Arab countries that we call the Arab countries now. So they come from Put. And they were not cursed too. But then there was Canaan. Not be you. You will not be cursed in Jesus' name. So this is Canaan. Now, who are the descendants of Canaan? Canaan had many children. I mean, he had descendants. His descendants from him alone came the Hivites. You read about them in the Bible. The Hivites, the Jebusites, the Arvadites, the Girgashites, the Amorites, the Archatites, the Sinitites, the Hittites. All those Hittites, they are forming from him, and there is none of them alive today. They have been consumed by the curse. The curse has taken its toll on them. That's why you wonder, all those ancient nations, you'll be wondering, where are they today? Because the curse has taken it has done its due course. It has taken its course, its toll. They are not here. So, for somebody to now be saying Ham is the one who was caused, that means the 1/3 of humanity would have been caused. Yeah. And the one that was even being caused has been eradicated. They don't exist again. So to be talking about that is just heartless.
Thank you.
Yes. Yes, sir.
I don't know, is it related to why God said that Israel is sending Israel to take over the land of
Yes,
Canaan,
of course
and
now.
to wipe out the
Canaanites. That is why Israel inherited that land. Because they come under the curse, they have been wiped. They are going to. Their line has been replaced by Israel. The Canaanite, that Canaan land is being given to Israel. Doesn't to rapture the black race at all. Doesn't go. Yeah. So black race doesn't have anything to do with that at all. At all. No. Yeah. So that's just in short for you people. Yeah, just for you to be able to, yes. To be able to, undo these questions. When microphone.
So even the people that were eventually cursed have gone.
Yeah, have gone.
They are no longer on the face
on the surface
of this earth.
Yes.
That should not even be preached.
No.
That should not even come up. My God. My God.
I didn't know people didn't know this thing, though.
I think we.
If it's this situation, I would have thought about it. I didn't know. I would have spoken about this many times. I didn't know people don't know this. Because it's so clear there. There is no, in fact, to be confused here, you have to be intentional. For you to say it is harm, either it has to be mischievous, you have to be intentional. I'm sorry. I am sorry. I'm sorry.
When you take up most of those prayer points, when you take up their prayer point, which has replaced the Bible,
Olukoya, what they call it, mountain of fire.
and please just study the root of those prayer points. Has got just to do with this. They have repositioned our mind.
But they taught in Redeem too.
We were taught in the ministers' conference.
Redeem teaches this
that we are cursed. That is why Malachi is the real this thing that they are using as a tool.
So Redeemed Ministers Conference teaches that we are cursed.
Curse in the setting, a curse exists. So it's just a matter. It's just not to do what they are saying you should do. The curse will come back. And there is also this inferiority complex. There's this inferiority complex, and that when you look at it, we appreciate anything that
comes from outside
white than the blacks. When a black man in Paris opened a shop, blacks will prefer to go and buy the same product in a Chinese shop. So it's in us. It's in us. So
we really need to teach this thing, no?
We really need to teach it. It should be a series.
Are you serious?
It should be a series. You will be amazed. You will be amazed the numbers of people that will come on board.
Are you serious?
That will come on board. Yeah. Yeah. It's the root of all those prayer books that deliverance never stop. Deliverance never stop. It's eternal. It's eternal. A church, get me well, if you do not practice or teach your own people the same, I knew something was wrong somewhere. I was sensing something is wrong somewhere. Because how can just these people, they prefer that lie. They themselves, the people, are very conditioned. Not only that, the people themselves prefer. Because by the time you are telling them you are not caused, this thing, okay, I will do deliverance. You conduct the deliverance today. But the person still go to another church because she believes that thing is not yet over. They will call on me to come to their house to pray. Okay, let us pray. You pray the same prayer in the sitting room. They will tell you to go to the kitchen to repeat the same prayer. Because the mindset is there that thing never
have been conditioned.
So prayer point is a means also of getting them to come back all and all. There is a serious problem. There is a serious problem. So if we have, because I've read it, but I've never thought that it wasn't Anne. This is my first time.
So many people believe it's Anne, eh?
This is my first time.
Are you serious? All over the world.
This is my first time of getting it.
And you are the senior pastor of all redeemed churches in France. And you didn't know this.
People are in bondage. Look at me. It's not all about the opening, this treasure, heavenly treasure, open unto us all. This has got to do with our lives.
Wow.
This has got to do with our lives.
My God.
The lives of our children.
I didn't know people have this problem.
The lives of our family. We never even thought we would get to this topic.
Thank God.
I was to leave this place early this morning. I was to leave this place. So I knew somewhere there. This inferiority complex is from there. The mentality that has been turned around that makes it even difficult for the member, the ministers that are under it to even rise and be capable of having look at the way we've been having pictures with him. Having them, considering them to be human beings like that. Because they have made us to believe that they are spirit, that they don't go to toilet.
Jesus.
that they don't go to toilet. Let me open up this packaging, because we talk about our sister ability to go and do what she did. And I said somewhere there, I said, it's not expensive. For us to be able, now she took it higher in that she's saying, let me make it quality. And that I will do it, I will send them to the private school. You see, there is this belief. Why they don't do it? Why we don't do it in our CCG? Okay. Is that, look, we believe, because they have set up ministries also under it. They have set up some certain things that they do advertise. So they have made us to understand that once you release those funds, those tithes, because that was the excuse that Adeboye used online. And that was what he told them. He said, you can't imagine the numbers of missionaries that we have sent all over the world, that people do not count the cost. Now, get me well, because I'm talking about it's just a way to brainwash or to cover up the truth. Now, you are telling people that there are ministries in place that are taking care of the widows, that are taking care of the sick, the destitute, the poor people. But somewhere there, it's not true. Why am I saying it's not true? There is this packaging. 10 people are poor in the church. We will help 1 out of 10. That one that we will help out of 10, we will blow trumpet, advertise it, bring the person to the pulpit, talk about all what we did. If possible, have a magazine on it, interview the person. That alone will silence the rest of it. So people do not know that there are still 9, and the church has the ability to even go beyond the 10. They can go beyond the 10. So now the 9 will never ask any question. They will never ask any question, or even raise up, or even doubt, or even believe. Because now let me talk about the missionaries. The RCCG missionaries all over the world are nothing but lies. Many of them that left Nigeria on their own. Many left on their own. They were not sponsored or backed up financially. It's more or less a franchise system of operation. In that where you are, you have already told the man there that, look, I'm going to Italy to take over Italy. So because there is no RCCG in Italy, and that you are the first person to go there, before you leave Nigeria, your papa, your regional, your so-called this thing, you must have given him. So Italy have been sold to you. So no other person must go to Italy except you. The Lord is delivering us. The Lord is delivering us. Now, when you hear that the church is so place. Now, the church all over there existing means again. Because down there, they will not tell you that the person there in Haiti, the person there in Afghanistan, those people, all those missionaries in the war zone, they will never tell you what they are going through. There are a lot of abandoned missionaries of RCCG all over the world that cannot even boast of a day meal, abandoned on the war, in war zones, that their children are suffering. But what do? What these people do is to use the little. They will just identify one. They will use that one and advertise it. The one that went to Nigeria recently, Pastor Dap, ended up on a bed in the hospital. If it were not to be we coming to know, and that it became, look, they would not do, he would have died. So it was because the thing came on board that they now started doing, oh no, it cannot be DAC that we give him money. So it was just this week now that we saw him down dancing. And they have to advertise it. It's in a way to say, look, look at, you can see now we are helping. But DAPS is one out of millions of people that are dying. And that summer, none of them will dare raise up their mouth because of two things. Because they are getting their deliverance. Many usually hear us. Many are always on board. But they can't speak the way I'm speaking. Number one, if your means of eating is from them, you will not be able to come out of it. Because the first question many of them always ask is that if I now come out of this thing, how am I going to eat? Come on, do it like me. Don't be afraid. Look up, it's more profitable to walk than to depend on one papa or one mama to be feeding you. It is true that you have been on full time for 10, 20 years. It doesn't matter. Now that we all have discovered the truth, come out of it. Go and walk. The day you receive that, your financial liberty is the beginning of your deliverance. Number two is the fear. The fear has been there.
What fear?
Once there's this method in that once they hear that one person left and that something bad happened to him, still the same thing, packaging. We advertise it, blow it as a trumpet. Can't you see that one that left? She and the wife were in a bus. They died. So it will become a reference. It will become a reference that will make every other pastor to say, look at that one that died. If you dare go. So we see someone that leaves and we keep shut their mouth. But somehow deliverance, the real truth is that not only do you receive the truth, but the truth makes you open up. You have to speak that truth. You must not hide that truth. You see, when a man has been reconditioned to the extent that they now make his color as a means to set up an empire, is the most wicked thing that a man can ever do to another man. It's the most wicked thing that a man can ever do to another man.
No, but I can't believe that you said they teach pastors in Redeem.
They teach us
that harm were caused.
They teach us in ministers' conference
that we are harm.
That we are from the setting of harm.
And we are caused.
That we are caused. That we are harm. And we are coming out of it. We are already out of it. We are already out of it. So I'm encouraging as many ministers of the Redeemed Christian Church of God. You are in Nigeria, you are hearing me. You are in Europe, you are hearing me. There is no work. They've told you that full time. They do encourage everybody to go on full time. They've told you that full time is very good. There's one thing you will notice. The system is wrong. You've tried and tried and tried to make things work. Things are not working. Get me well. You just must go and find a job. Start from there. You will see what the Lord God will do. It doesn't end there. That fear is a lie. That is why I told us, and I will keep on saying it. Anybody that tells you that mommy water exists, tell that person that mommy water should come and help us open our eyes to the submarine technology. Because if she could swim there in the sea, she should be capable of fabricating a submarine. You see, all these things that Mountain of Fire fashion, all these churches fashion, and they are using to engage us. Time has come for us to come out and say no. No. We are coming out and we are manifesting the truth.
It's just about the let's say the revelation about the curse of the black people or something like this. And Pastor, I think that maybe like there is some Satanist. It's another thing that you know and you think that people knows.
Yes.
But people.
No, I think people know it already.
No. So, like, people don't know. There is a lot of things that people don't know. And this is very a blessing for us. And what I want
to confirm what you are saying, somebody is just writing me now and say, hello, DSA, this subject of the curse on the black race and their descendants, and that they are descendants of Ham, and that the curse is on them, is real, Pastor. All the churches I've ever been in my life, all the churches, and she is in Germany, she said both white churches and black churches I've ever been, they teach this concept directly or through suggestions. He says a minister, a white minister in a white church here in Germany, even told me that I'm a black woman and that black people are historically cursed. And that because of that, I'm not allowed to have money or to have position or be rich as I was supposed to be. So somehow this declaration got into my head and everything started declining for me financially from that. I really believe that this should be the topic of a whole teaching series. So that the black people shall be once and for all be delivered from this misconception and start living in the light.
So, Doctor, I think that there is maybe a lot of topic like this that you know what is truth. And like
I assume that everybody should know this.
Yes. So
in the 21st century, that people believe in that is a shock to me.
And just two ideas. The first is that this topic is not just about religions or faith. It's about also political issue, because and I think that in the project of Nigeria, maybe it has to be included as a propagation, or to make propagation, because many Africans think that we cannot develop more than West country because we are cursed.
Is that so?
Yes.
No.
We cannot. We will never be best because we are already cursed.
No.
Of course. So that's why I said.
Wow.
So I think it's one of the roots of the lack of faith in the country.
Wow.
We don't think that our country can become best because we think that we are at the beginning cursed.
Okay.
So let's say maybe the transformation of nation had to deal with that mindset of African are cursed or not. And the last things that is that I received when you were talking, and this is very great. It was about the Canaan. Canaan is the last birth born, or let's say
Canaan.
Yes, it's the last born, and it refers like to Jesus. And you said it like the lamb, the little one. Yes, who is let's say cursed for the holders.
Sacrifice.
And this is just it is amazing that everything refers to Christ, and we see here that right now we cannot be cursed because Jesus
has taken it.
Take it. So it's not. It has not sense.
Beautiful.
Yeah, Pastor, I think you wrote one book called "The Problem of." I did not read the book, but I saw emphasis of a book, a mountain.
Mountain of Ignorance.
I think when I saw the title, I thought, wow, this is amazing. Because of we in Africa, personally, we use our emotions. When Papa said something, we don't have our own time even to check. Like in the garden, you see Paul with a Berea, Christian.
Yes.
And then, or this in English, but when Paul was teaching,
they
will take the teaching,
Yes.
they go home, and they will go through it.
Yes.
And that is what is missing, not only Africa, in many Christian circle. We do not have a time. Even when you are teaching us, these things they are written here. Just written here. Just take time. You have Holy Spirit. Just take your Bible and read you will discover, not Papa said to me, not teacher teach me, but Holy Spirit with you. It will be like when God said to Joshua that this set of instruction is not to cease being a part of your conversation.
Yes.
Meditate on it and said day and night, so that you may be careful to carry out everything that's written in it, for you will prosper and succeed.
Yes.
So it's very, very, very important for us. This is our problem, because we do not have. We took our mind off. We can't reason like you have been teaching these things. We cannot have a time to
reason,
take it to reason. Just it's come and then we carry and then so on. And then here in the Western also we fight. We have fight of this view. With this father has carried this view. This is what I think, and then it's not anymore what you think. It's become view people believe. Even this is what will happen. And then we don't have a time for ourselves to even to read. Some of things are very simple.
This release is very good for me, and I'm going to take it outside of HMT, because I might be jumping up often. I wasn't doing that. To share, I'm truly inside here is free. Before I was in knots, I felt inferior, indignant, everything you can find. You put your clothes on, and you look in the mirror, and it's like you can't see yourself. That's what is, and all the time deliverance. Before one deliverance is over, another one is planned. So it is that you are an actual zombie, because I would drive out of my car and it's 12 o'clock in the night, struggling to get to my destination. Before you know it, I have to roll back in the church in the next morning to say, oh, you have to come because they're having this prayer or whatever. 21-day fasting, the church. And I'm like, I'm going church for just 1 hour. I'm journeying from so far to come to church. What's the purpose? When I calculate time, my time is consuming, and I felt useless. I leave my personal things, my personal self aside to make it on time. I'm there, so I'll be blessed. So the function is that you need to be delivered. You need to have the miracle. But why is it so consistent? Because if I need something, a piece of, call it a furniture, I go to the store and I purchase it. I like that, I got it, and I have it. I don't go put it outside and go back every day and buy the same piece of furniture. You know? A shoe, you can do that because you have the seasonal shoes that you need. But in life now, your life, how many times you're going to be having this extreme situation of having a miracle, a healing, all this deliverance, and it's not free. I can see DSA, he didn't say I can't come close because I have to give him an offering, put it at his feet. And then I come down and I do all that drama to keep existing, to exist as a human being. It's over. And everybody else should get the life that they need to have on their headstone that they're born, and before they die, they must be of significance, and this is where your life ends. So please, look for structure and move on. God.
I just want a message, because there is a certain pastor. I just want you to give a message. He does his own deliverance. He will be in France or wherever. He transports himself to maybe America or Africa and doing deliverance thing. I'm in your house right now. I can see this. I can see that. Oh, that your house is kind of dirty. There is something. He will be telling you stuff. It's like, going down your stairs. Can you show some light here for what do you think about that? because they use that too.
No, you explain it better. Do you understand what you said?
No. There's a pastor, there's certain, like, he do his deliverance. It's like constantly, every day. Oh, today's your day, you're going to have your breakthrough and blah, blah, blah. And then once you come on his platform, because I was on his platform, and then he will be praying, and he will call somebody name. Oh, here, I am in your house right now. I can see there is, in your closet, there is this. You need to get rid of that dress. You need to get, and then the person on the prayer line will be like, wow, how come you're in my house? And yes, that's true. And kind of stuff like that. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying.
Okay.
Well, for me, if they said they see your something in your closet, what has that got to do with your destiny? It's got nothing. But with the yes, pastor, yes, speak, pastor. It's nothing to do with your life. Let them see what is in your kitchen. Let them see what is in your bathroom. That has got nothing to do with your destiny.
Okay, let me comment on it. What you are talking about is what we see when people say, I go to your village now. I can enter into your house. You have this room there. You have that room there. You have this subject in your house. That is called divination. Divination. Divination is the ability to use extrasensory perception and see who you are and what is connected to you. And also to read what your thoughts are. But then how you know that those things are not true is that, for example, they could tell you all the things that are happening in your house, in your home, because that is familiar spirit. So there is always a spirit that is working with them. They are working with the evil spirit that is giving them that information. It's very similar to when Saul, after Samuel died, and he wanted to call Samuel's spirit back, but it was normally a spirit that was supposed to come and give the information. But instead of that spirit to come, Holy Spirit made Samuel himself to come. So that was why they was surprised. And okay, so what normally happens is that there is a spirit that is attached to these people and making them to see things like that. That is one. That is called familiar spirit. But there is another one that is not spirit that is attached to them, but they have inclination to see reality. That is divination. What is divination? Divination is to be able to catch your thoughts and catch your concerns and your reality. So you will discover that everything, divination is the ability to be able to see what you are going through or what your reality, the reality of your life. So they will see what is going on in your day. They see through divination what you are experiencing, what you are going through. But they will not be able to see the way out, your future. So normally what will happen in divination is this. They will say, okay, you have that in your house, you have this, you are wearing this, you have that. But they will not be able to. So so they will only say give. So they use divination to extract something from you. So they tell you, okay, go and sacrifice or go and give money or go. But they will not be able to tell you what is in God's heart. So I want you to be able to get this right. Yes, when it is God, God knows your future, everything about you. But he only gives a word of knowledge or a word of wisdom about a situation right now. But that revelation, for example, if I come, God giving the word of knowledge, even if you don't believe, that situation is resolved right there. You don't need to go and do sacrifice. You don't need to go and give. You don't need to go. The fact that God, if it is God, if he says, for example, you have cancer and you have growth, and God it means the fact that God is revealing it to tell you about it, it means God is taking care of it. And you will see either that very same day or that week, that cancer or will disappear. But in their own case, they will only say they will only say situations around you. They see where you are coming from or what you are thinking about, what you are worried about, or your thoughts. But they will not be able to get you out of it. So they waste a lot of time. So how you will know that it is a spirit of divination is they waste all the time describing what you are going through. Because that's the only thing they have. That's what they see. But then at the end, they will just tell you maybe go and sacrifice or go and give. They don't, no way out for you. And no solution. And then you don't have a way to come back and say nothing has changed. Because they already take the offering and the tithe that they want. Nothing happened. And then they have gone. So, but whenever they begin to pay too much attention in describing where you are, what you are, and what is happening, and who is responsible for it, yes, that means it's the spirit of divination. So let me explain that again to you. So whenever they are telling you what is going on in your life right now, or what has happened before, they are using perception, extrasensory perception, to get information, because all around there is information. It's the same thing that Babalawos will do. If you go to what do you call them, diviners? Herbalists, fortune tellers, or yes, fortune tellers and all mediums. They also have that perception, but because your reality, your destiny, the information, your reality is in the ear. In the spirit realm. So, yes, everything about you is in the spirit realm. So they could extract it from the spirit realm through using the connection to the spirit world that they have. So that's how they just give you the information about what you have. But they cannot tell your destiny. They cannot influence it. Because it is only God that knows what the plan that he has towards you. For good and for not for evil, to give you an expected end. So that expected end is not revealed to them, because that is hidden in God. I don't know if you are seeing the difference. So they are only able to tell you the realities of what has already happened. But the part of it that is hidden in God, they don't know it. I don't know if you are catching what I'm trying to say. But they will be able to tell you the pictures of what is already happened or what is happening. But they will not be able to know where that is taking you. The part of you that is hidden in God. But when it is God just comes with he only focuses not on the drama, what has happened or what is happening. He only focuses on where he is taking you. So, for example, you have a case right now. God can just tell you, you have that case, but this is what is going to happen. You are coming out right now because of what I have. That area, they don't have it. That is now God. But they only get to past, present, and dramatize it. But they just guess, they tell you to go and give something. So, because they don't know way out. They don't have access to the secrets of God. But when it is the will of God, when it is God, God rather comes to get you out of where you are. It doesn't dramatize. It doesn't talk too much. God doesn't waste time on past or present, because he said, don't you know I'm doing a new thing? Forget about what is past, because God is always going forward. And so the accent of God is to get you out of what is holding you back in the past and just tell you, this is what I'm taking you to. You are free. You feel freedom like that. But what they do is just holding you back, dramatizing the past and talking about it, because that's the only thing they can perceive. But the solution will never come because they don't know it. So what they will now use it to do is to use that access they have to information to exploit you. So how do they exploit you? They always connect it with money. So anytime anybody comes to you with a revelation and now connects it with you giving something, you know that is witchcraft or divination or familiar spirit. So because they don't know the way out, they just want to exploit you to take for themselves, because that's the whole purpose for them. So they either going to make you to go and give money, or they make you to be dependent on them. So you are a human being like them. All of us are equal. Nobody should have dominion over another. But the whole essence of witchcraft is the opposite. Witchcraft and divination is all about making them to be superior and come over you. So they will make you to now be bound down to them. They will make you to be their subject. Those are the two ways. The two things you have to look out for. If anybody is giving you revelation that leads to money,
from you, not they helping you. Because if it's a man of God, any problem you are in, he will say, let me help you resolve it. Let me pay for your medical something. Let me help you. I see your problem. Let me help you. That is how men of God behave. But when he's rather saying, no, you believe to me, you know, this divination or familiar spirit. Secondly, if he gets you to do revelation and takes advantage of you to come leave your church, you have to be following me. Or you have to come to church every Sunday or every 7 days a week or 40 days fast or something like that. It's not God. Because if it is God, you don't need 7 days fast. If it is God, that is why he gave the revelation in the first place. He always gives the revelation in the first place because he already decided to set you free. He's starting from the end. You don't need to be God. Yeah. So, but when they are telling you, go and for 21 days, and after revelation, it's not possible. In the way God works is, after revelation, if it's word of knowledge and word of wisdom, that is the end. After revelation, it means it's coming from the end. It's from the finishing point. So it's not going to say, after revelation, then you go and be going to 21 days or something. No, it means it's something fishy. That 21 days to make you subject to them and keep on coming. And so that is all witchcraft.
Thank you very much for saving my life. Thank you. Thank you.
Jesus. Hallelujah. Glory.
Yeah. Yes. So there are a lot of different things they use. Now let's see other things they use. Now let's see the way familiar spirit works. So familiar spirit is always familiar. Is imitation. Remember that word familiar. Is a spirit of imitation. So it's a spirit that is playing on your intelligence. You know, that is always imitating your reality. So you have your reality. So this spirit, because nobody can control your destiny, even spirits. But they make you, they imitate your familiar. With their familiar, they try to act out your situation. So they will say you have not been married for so many years. You are not something. Then they will say somebody is responsible for it. Or familiar spirit. They will tell you mommy water spirit or spiritual husband or something like that. So he's using your situation to create a parallel reality. And you will now begin to believe in it. Familiar spirit. So by the time you go home after that deliverance, you begin to feel that spiritual husband is there. You might even begin to feel that you are having sex in that, because the familiar spirit is now, the one you are having dealings with. Because you open yourself to it. That familiar spirit is having authority over you. So that's why women will believe that they have spiritual husband, before that familiar spirit is coming to sleep with them. Because they open themselves to it. Somebody has to suggest that to you. It's not possible. If you don't open, just like you have to open yourself to receive Jesus Christ, if you don't open yourself to, somebody has to make you believe it. Somebody has to make you open to receive it. Then Satan has access to you. But it's not, you are not demon possessed. So it's just playing. That is why most of the time, what you need to do is to resist the enemy and he will flee from you. Because that Satan, that familiar spirit, it's only playing. It's not inside of you. It's playing on your intelligence. It's playing on your reality. So when you believe it, that, if somebody is chasing after me, that's what they like. And that's what these bishops like also. They want you to believe that. And so Satan is just taking advantage of you. But the only thing you need, very easy, just to resist him. And he will flee from you. Just for you to come out of the delusion. Basically, people use delusion. And that's why you should stop listening to all their suggestions. Yes. That somebody is in your father's house. Once you begin to open like that, familiar spirit takes over. Somebody is in your house. Your grandfather did this. That one. Then when you open up and say, yes. Then familiar spirit takes advantage of that. You believe. You take it. You welcome it. So Europeans that white people, they don't even know, they don't even hear this thing. That they are the safest. Because you never even heard about it. You are the safest. Because nobody is suggesting to you. You are not believing the wrong stuff. You have to have been told
to have been influenced by it, to be influenced by it. If you have never been told, you've never have anything to do with it, you are free. So the less you think about Satan, demons, principalities, wishes and wizards, the more you, if you don't think about it for the rest of your life, the better for you. Don't pray about it. Don't cast out demons anywhere unless you want to cast out from people. But in your house, don't be saying, every priest that says, no spirit, accept God. Deal with God. And, if anything, the only thing you want to have is just to kick him out. That's all. You don't even be praying anything. Don't be waking up every day and be binding Satan. You don't need have anything to do with him. Forget him. It's already been defeated. It's already been banned. The less you think about it, don't be going out of your house and be saying, all the spirits that want to come. No spirit knows about, you are the one inviting them that way. Don't be going to your car. Don't be going to your car saying that, any spirit that is on the way. Nobody is on the way. But now that you have said they are on the way, you are attracting them to now come. So this is how familiar spirit works. So familiar, things that you create, things that they create for you, they parallel something. Spirits begin to play on your intelligence. So spirit of divination, remember that, and familiar spirits. Those are the things Satan will use. But don't even listen. But like I said, if you listen to my series on how to overcome the satanic forces, I have a whole series on, it's called the Healing and Deliverance series. So if you listen to it, you will see that Christians are up on the chair. I put a table, are on top. And demons, every forces of evil, are under that table. You are not even supposed to be aware. That's your reality is supposed to be. You are not even supposed to be aware that they exist. The only time that you might be aware that they exist, if you see a victim, and say, you don't know you have come out, get out. That's the only time you should have anything to do with them. You shouldn't be praying about Satan. You shouldn't be praying about, they are permanently under your feet. That I will even tell you more. Even though, if those demons and principalities, they are under the table and you are on top of the table, but they are under, the demons and principalities are under there, and they are under other people, individuals who are not born again, who are just ordinary human beings, who are living here. But the demon is under there, but they are on the same level. But you are on top, you are higher than both these ones are doing. But they are on the same level with unbelievers, demons. Even they cannot be touched. Even they cannot be touched by these evil and principalities, even though they are on the same level. As long as they don't notice, they don't pay attention. Yes. Once they live, yes, that's the way. Once they live their lives and they don't pay attention to what Satan is there or is not there, they live their life, they will be freer than the Christian who is there and is afraid that he's going to come up and join him. So if Satan cannot even touch the ones that are on the same level with him, who are not thinking about it, talk less of you who's under feet they are. So don't worry about Satan. Jesus, the less you pay attention to it, the more victorious you are. Yeah. But that's why when you go to those churches, they will always create your parallel reality for you. They will always connect your mystery or your challenge to them. That is how your problem starts. That's how familiar spirit begin to manipulate you. Because they will say the problem you are having, the fact that you have been married and you are not yet pregnant, or the fact that your husband divorced you, or the fact that somebody is sick, and it is Satan, then they make you and bring you now under that way. Yes. They always connect with you the mystery. But when you don't have any mystery, when you don't have any situation and you are living your life, nothing to connect, even their own attempts will not touch you. Because they need to suggest, it's power of suggestion is called. They need to use power of suggestion. And you become susceptible to the power of suggestion because of your realities, because of the problems you are having. So because you are having this problem with your finances, or you are having problem with your family, with your children, that reality makes you to want to listen. And then you get suggestion, those suggestions that it is something responsible for it, you believe it.
If Satan is so powerful, have you heard of the Benin Kingdom? Yes, you know Benin Kingdom is one of the most powerful in Nigeria. Okay, and before in Nigeria, before independence, they were an empire. They were the empire that was widespread. And you know what made them to be powerful? The Benin Kingdom is with the word witchcraft. They were the center and the most powerful witchcraft something. But you know, when Europeans came, who are not aware of what is witchcraft, what is all that rubbish, they don't even know about it. They took the king like this, took him by the head. They took the whatever he was wearing, the crown. They gave it to one of the soldiers and said, "Go and take it as a souvenir to England." They took him. He was trying to do some incantation. They slapped him. They went to, yeah. So yes, and they had his palace. He has a whole room in the palace where the gods of the fathers, all the orishas, all the fathers, no human being can enter there. Even the king himself, for him to enter into that room, they have to be virgins, and people sacrifice, and only some powerful men have to do incantation and sacrifice before any human being. Any human being that enters there has to die, because they had been programmed. Then they were dying because the suggestion was already there. They were aware. But all the white soldiers just entered there. They just scatter everything. They had some fresh oil and blood. They put on because the fresh blood has to be on the Orisha's head. They say, these blacks are so barbaric. Why should they be putting why should they be putting blood on these souvenirs? These are beautiful souvenirs. They were thinking they are work of art. And souvenirs. They Google all of them. They are in France now. They are in England. All those orishas. The Europeans. They are in France. They are in Britain. They call them works of art. And we are thinking they are orishas. Nothing happened to anybody. Orishas. They banished the man. They took him away. He died in exile. They conquered the whole land. And they did that in Igbo land. They did that in Yoruba land. They did that all over Africa. The witchcraft went to sleep because no suggestion. They didn't even have Jesus. Like I said, those demons, no matter how powerful they are, once you don't pay attention to them, once you are living, you don't regard them. It is the ability that you believe that they are powerful. That is what nobody can harm you or anything. So they don't even believe anything. Because they don't believe that is their protection. All over, not in one country, not in two countries, not in 50 countries, all over witchcraft. In Asia also, witchcraft gave up. Because nobody believes, they don't walk without your cooperation, without your fear. You've got to fear. You've got to believe. You've got to be, suggestion has to be put in you that destiny is dangerous, is powerful. That's the only way it works. They don't even pay attention to those things. Yeah. For example, let's talk about politics in Nigeria. People say, don't go to politics. So people do human sacrifice. So there's something. Because even Christians believe that they don't go. But what about the ones who are there? Because those are the ones who don't care, who don't even think of anything. Maybe a few of them are doing sacrifice, but most of the people who are there, they don't even just care. You will see them on television, you see that they're just normal people, they don't care. And nobody is killing them, they are not dying because they are not thinking about it. But you who believe, although you have Christ, that you have to do human sacrifice to do this, that's why you remain a chicken for the rest of your life. You need to cut it. Yeah, maybe somebody, if we have anybody who can cut different segments of it, because there's a different segment where we talk about Adam, why it was not cut. It's a different segment why Ham is not cut, black man is not. Give title to it. It's a different segment who is Noah, who is Ham, who is black man. It's a different segment. This one we are talking about. So we need to really. Yeah. So some of the books that will help us, of course, is How Africans Brought Civilization to Europe. That we must be aware of it. Then Nigeria and the leadership question, how to make Nigeria the greatest country in the world, the Nigerian economy, how it can overtake the American economy. We just need to work. Yes. Work is better than vacation. Labor is better than favor. And the danger of monoculturalism, and that's our problem. It's only our culture that is talking about witchcraft. Yeah. Other people are not. Yes. Because monoculturalism. The role of the elite in national transformation. Visionless life is a meaningless life. And I think it's not because I'm better. God had mercy on me. I left Africa when I was just 19. I've been here for 32 years. I've never been a church member in my life. Just exposed to God. Just seeking the face of God, not the word of God by myself. So God protected me from all the deceptions. When I left Nigeria, church was not like this. It was another Christianity. Every Christian in Nigeria, when I was there, used to talk like me like this. In the 80s and 70s, they used to be normal. What happened to them? I don't know. This one is called Nigerian Economy, the Way Forward. How to transform and build a civilized nation. And how to become developed nation through dignity of labor. Yeah, when I was in Africa in the 80s, they used to laugh at white garment church people. They used to believe in these things. They were the ones who used to believe in these things. But the Christians, they used to call the Christian, when I was born again, SU people. Those SU people, they were on top. But now they disappeared, and now we have all these kind of Christians that are paganistic, and they are not even Christians. We have lost Christianity in Africa. When I talk like this, people think I'm the one who is crazy. Okay, we'll see. But you go and talk to white Christians, or black Christians who have not been suggested to, who are not familiar with your culture. Go and talk to French Christians, or American Christians, or English Christians, or Scottish Christians. You discover that everybody is talking like me. But because we are all in the same one culture, we all talk the same language, we've not seen anything else different, we think we are right. Because that's what we are exposed to. But I have been exposed to the rest of the world. That's the difference. God helped me to be away from that culture. And never to even have heard these things. I'm just hearing from you people. You see how that's why I'm not afraid. All of you are used to being afraid of GO, don't talk, don't mention. I am not. Because I grew up in another reality. If I had been afraid, I wouldn't have been able to do what I did here in this country. Because in this country, when I came here, nobody was believing in God. To believe in God, you have to go to jail. But we overturned that. Our church, right now, we have been able to produce over 700 politicians in every segment of the society. The mayor of the city was a member of our church. 34% of the parliament here we are controlling in Kyiv. You don't just do that out of nonsense, out of the fact that God just anointed you. So why is he not anointing the rest? It's because of what you know. When I was in the U.S. And I was being invited to Senate, I said, but Benny Hinn is here, T.J. Jakes is here. They said they don't want them because they are doing church religion. When I went to UN, the same thing. So it depends on what you know. It doesn't just because, it's favor. Okay. Why are you not getting favor? You to get now. Collect. Just some people destroying, deceiving everybody else and exploiting people. But I want to set everybody free. Both the pastors and the members. Just have personal relationship with your father. Get close to him. You don't need to come and bow down to me. You don't need to come and walk with your father. Love him. Serve him. Finish. Finito. If he says you should build church, then go and do it. If he says you should do something else, go and do it. But you don't think that I am more important than you, or no. We are just brothers and sisters. What makes me more important is what I know. If you know more, you become more important. That's it. Through the knowledge of him who called you. He has given you all things for life and for godliness, but through the knowledge. You can become partakers of his divine nature through the knowledge. Yeah, everything is only knowledge. So that's the only thing that makes a difference. But we don't use that knowledge to say you are superior. Just use it to lift other people up.
Yeah. It's a add to your virtue, add to virtue knowledge. Yeah. Okay, I don't know. What do we have in the afternoon? Success. Okay. We want to say something? Okay. Today?
Yeah,
from this series. Okay, you have to give me the topics so that we can write them. What are the topics you want us to write about?
Not just the series, I mean books.
From the okay, well, yeah. What are the topics you want me to write about?
About the course.
Okay. Black is not cursed.
Yeah, and about the
Witchcraft. Okay. Divination and familiar spirit. Ah. Well, have a wonderful day.
Okay, thank you, Facebook friends. Thank you for staying with us to the end of this section. We'll be back in an hour, so see you. Bye-bye. Woo!